monster inside of me. You better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy. To be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me. And he gets cause real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score. Never getting bored, loves of blood and gore. Always wanting more, freedom from the source. They don't really listen until they feel it forced apart. And if you start shit, you be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped. You be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. When there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. There's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate.
welcome to LXC.
In the summoner's rift we stand. ANGY's here with a master plan. TD Blessed's ready for the fight. Underneath the
You can somehow get
We can't walk blind.
Guys, they're gonna be on Baron. They're gonna be on Baron. We're gonna. Wait,
no,
you can
keep
maybe
pushing,
push. Maybe
keep
push.
pushing. We need to pressure. Keep pushing.
They're on. They're on. They're on.
Okay.
Keep going.
Just keep
Walk
going.
Up, we walk
keep
up a little
going.
bit. Oh no, never mind. You guys stop back maybe?
Yeah, we're just trying to stall. We're stalling. We're stalling.
Aurora here,
They're off.
guys.
They're
I
off.
stopped
They're
it, I
off.
stopped it.
Okay, that's Aurora TP.
Cancel the rotate. Cancel.
Nice.
I canceled.
We can literally end the
Cog.
game right now.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
We got the game. We got the game. We won the game.
No way. Wait, come on.
I'm in the picture, guys.
Wait.
Up there, Justin. Are we?
Pull it out or not?
Yeah.
We just bursting
Just
it?
burn it. Just burn it.
On the rhythm.
They're gonna collapse mid. They're collapsing mid.
We're getting dragon, guys.
Yeah. I'm walking downwards. Can you walk here?
Yeah.
Look at the orb, look at the orb.
I'm coming.
I'm on the Nocturne.
There's no spell.
Dead.
Huge.
Alright, on the Orn.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Nice.
Warrior's not with them. We play this up.
I'm still on Orn.
Yep, I'm on Orn too.
Alright,
Nice.
keeping going.
Ori's full top.
Orn's not with them. Let's just end the game, guys.
End it.
ANGY. Halfway already. Orn ulti the ram comes in. Only connects on one. Camille trying to go in. The baby cage stops the engage from Leona. Camille's on the back trying to drop a note. Samira's all by herself. She gets bursted out by the Kaisa. The starter will ulti too. And Camille will lock down at least one more member on the side of the 11. That's going to be 2 members down. Dragonviz and Stork down for this Drake. And Soul Point looks like it's going to eat.
Welcome one, welcome all. We have finally made it here to Sentinel Finals. It is go time between these two teams. We are in for a treat tonight. I'm Badger. I'm so happy to be casting ANGY, my goats. These team, I've been waiting to cast them this whole time. It's going to be a banger, and they're up against TD Bless, the team that we're going to see. It's going to be a good matchup. A little bit of history between these teams, some of these players. Oh, dude, I'm so excited. As I said, I'm Badger, but I'm joined today by Launches as my color. Launches, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I can't wait for the finals to start here. You know, we've seen these two teams battle it out through, of course, TD Bless coming from 5th place, actually barely making playoffs, to now here in the finals, trying to take down who, to be honest, if you look at it, is set to be the favorites.
Absolutely. This ANGY roster has been nothing but dominant this entire series, right? All of these players, even with Bingus subbing out, shout out to Bingus, the support goat, Nintendo Forever has done a great job of still keeping this team alive, right? They have so many playmakers. I feel like they can carry through any lane, and they have such a big champion ocean that it's gonna be hard for TD Bless to really find the bans that they need to win this series.
Of course, this will be the first patch that Sentinels is on the new patch, 14.19, which does mean we will have a lot of item changes and a pretty good shift in the meta. This includes a lot more mages mid lane. That might be Syndra, LeBlanc. We could see some Sylas, as we have seen some of our players do want to take that out. And of course, in the bot lane, we're seeing more hyper scaling champions. We might see some Jing, some Kaisa, some Jin, and we might even see some Kog'Maw. Maybe see some little spice it up here.
100%. And I know a lot of these bans, especially against ANGY, I know Amumu's been a champion that's always being banned against ANGY. Sadness is really, really strong on that champion. Also, Ahri, I think it's a contested pick between both Riven and Jackie. I think that it's going to be really hard, though, to kind of determine if what's and buts is going to be banned here, because I do think that a lot of these players have a really big champion ocean, right? You have so many talented players, very talented over on the side of ANGY. Outrage, he's a known name. He's there for a reason, right? But on the other side, you got Drop Dead, a really nice Viego player. He's going to get it done. And like I said earlier, Riven, that guy will pull out anything if it means he's going to be able to carry with it, right? I saw Riven mid last time I casted him. That guy is a psychopath, but in the best way.
Of course, in the support lane, we're going to see, of course, Nintendo versus Physiology here. Going to see if Physiology actually wants to bring out some of his hook champions. That might that be Thresh or Nautilus, even though they're not heavily within the meta right now. But of course, we might. It's going to be interesting seeing if one of the teams actually wants to pick out maybe more of the Chanter support tier. You know, the Sona, the Lulu, who really have been buffed this patch.
I do think a lot of the reason that the hyperscalers are doing so well right now bot lane is just because of the fact that a lot of the enchanter items with that 14.19 patch kind of got indirect buffs at the end of the day. Forbidden Idol being 600 gold with the amount of stats it gives is kind of nuts. So, like you said earlier, we're seeing a lot of champs like Kog'Maw. We're seeing Jinx. Sometimes Vayne is coming out too. I think it's a really fun meta. I also am just excited that we finally have gotten rid of 80 mids. I've been sick of them. I love my control mages, and with champs like Syndra on the rise, I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I think most of us have been a little tired of seeing the Corki, the Yone, and stuff like that mid lane. So it's gonna be interesting to see again, kind of that more again mage centric bot or mid lane, and maybe see some again if we see LeBlanc, maybe some of the flashier plays that come out from it.
Yeah, 100%. Also, I got a little bit of insight from some of the players here from ANGY. And I was talking to Jackie kind of about this matchup here. So, a little bit of insider information. We'll talk about that later. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but we're already into draft phase as Kais is coming out as that first ban for TD Blast.
Of course, Kai'Sa being really strong in the meta. It's one of the champions that actually has in bot lane survived through the 80 item bans and stuff like that. But still able to do kind of that hybrid thing. And of course, we see the Garen band here from AE trying to like stop Riven from getting any of those more melee mid lanes here. Riven loves taking out the Garen, the Yone, even the Riven mid lane with Riven, of course.
Yeah, and we see a Mumu coming out. That's kind of the staple ban against Angie, right? Sadness has done too much on it, but we're seeing just fire bans. These guys are going so fast. We see the Poppy band kind of to potentially sway off a Jarvan, but a Jarvan band's over on the other side for TD Bless. So I think this is pretty solid for these bans. I think these are pretty like meta defining champions. So nothing really too surprising. I'm honestly I know I said it, but I'm kind of surprised about the Garen mid or Garen Band. I think he's not doing as well on this patch. Just with those item changes, he's kind of that item reliant champ. But Udyr, very solid band there on the side of TD Blessed. Drop Dead has
Sadness
been
playing
putting
a
in a
lot.
ton of time on it.
Sadness. I've been putting quite a bit of time as well. I'm surprised that they didn't try to take it. I guess they're really scared about the steal. And actually, here might be a Jinx first pick here, just because again, a great scaler here and gonna be outputting a lot of damage late game. And right as I say that, Ashe is picked as well, another good scaler who doesn't necessarily have to scale off the items, which actually be pretty good. And it's gonna be interesting to see what supports they actually want to pair up that. Will they have again? Maybe they'll have the Lulu, the Sona. If one of them are good, maybe take out something like the Renata here.
Absolutely. And I mean, honestly, these are two 80 carries that I expected to see. Also, Skarner. I've been seeing Sadness been playing this a ton. I think it is one of the strongest champions on the patch. Those buffs that I think came in 14, 18 have really helped him kind of shift back into that meta spot, kind of when he was originally on that like release with that rework. So I think he's really strong and he's pretty blind because you can get away with a lot of stuff on the guy, but I also think with those 80 carries kind of like circling back, I think the lethal tempo getting added this patch has helped out a lot. But actually, are we going to see an Olaf this early? An Olaf in response? Like,
Okay.
I'm really surprised.
Gonna be interesting to see. Is this gonna be again an Olaf top lane or an Olaf jungle? Is Drop Dead gonna play it or Barbaric? Could be interesting to see how that goes. And of course, here the Lulu comes out again. A great enchanter pick right now, going to be able to buff up that Jinx so that she's going to be so powerful, and she's just not going to die during a team fight with the Lulu ult on top of her, of course, and the polymorph as well, stopping that Skarner from ever trying to like jump on to the Jinx, assuming that she can hit it on time. And of course, we will see actually a Seraphine here bot lane. So of course, we are assuming that it is going to be Ashe, ADC, Seraphine support. But again, that could always change. We could always see a Seraphine mid, or we could even see a Seraphine ADC as support, although it's been a little while since that's been in the meta. But
So I understand kind of where you're coming from. Ashe Seraphine is a really strong pairing, but right now I think it's kind of a self counterpick into this Olaf, right? I think Olaf, if you're kind of building like a team comp kind of just around hard CC, Olaf is going to run through you, right? The Ragnarok is so strong in these extended fights, right? If he gets ahead, it's going to be so hard for Ashe and Seraphine to slow him down because Ashe's gimmick is she's trying to slow you with her auto attacks, but Ragnarok says no to that. And I think it's honestly, it's getting a lot more value than I thought it would, especially this early in the draft.
of course, here we see the Galio or looks to be the Galio and the Silas band trying to stop Riven from playing anything they're comfortable with. Again, Riven is mostly a melee mid lane, can go AP, can go AD, but loves those melee champs here. But of course, the LeBlanc ban actually also is targeting Riven, as Riven has been recently trying to pick up LeBlanc, trying to pick up the Syndras. It's in the meta, but looks like that's just going to be out. And of course, the Camille ban actually trying to stop Ultimize here from just getting any champion, trying to stop that potential Camille into Olaf right here.
Ultimice is a really big Camille player, right? And Camille is doing really, really well in the patch as well. I think she's close to a 53% win rate right now, which is kind of bonkers. I know she's getting nerfs next patch. I think it's strong, but actually, I'm surprised it didn't get banned. The Ahri is coming out. It's a pretty safe blind, and I know Very Talented is very talented on the pick.
Getting one of the best champions there are here. And then we will have the Ornn, actually. So it looks like that might be an Olaf jungle pick here, actually, which means that Ornn going top lane is going to hurt Ashe, I think, more, just because, again, gonna have the Ragnar Olaf using Ragnar, just being able to, again, tower dive or something like that, not being able to stop the Ashe ult, the Seraphine ult, and stuff like that. So that's gonna be interesting to see how this bot lane for ANGY is gonna go. And of course, with the Ornn items, being able to upgrade a Jinx item, a Fed Olaf item, is going to go a long way, especially if this game goes to that 40-50 minute time.
Absolutely. I mean, I am still looking. I think Ornn, he is pretty blindable, but he's not perfect, right? There are still going to be a lot of champs that kind of shut this guy down, right? But I do really like that pick there from Riven there. Syndra, so strong right now. I'm kind of surprised it made it all the way to B5. I think it's really good into the Ahri. I've honestly seen some people play it both ways, but Syndra right now, I'm really liking the TD Blessed comp. I think it's hard to break through this. And I think when you have a really, really CC heavy comp with that Olaf on the other side, it's going to be tough. But we'll see if Ultimice can save it here with this R5 counter pick. It's the make or big pick here, but what's it going to be?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if she wants to bring out the Shen or the Gwen or something like that. I've seen that being picked out a lot. But actually, it's just going to be the Aatrox. It's just going to be the Aatrox here. Again, has been doing, no, I wouldn't say the best, but Aatrox is, of course, still very strong when fed. So that's going to be interesting to see how this Ornn versus Aatrox meta top lane going to go.
I mean, Aatrox is known kind of as a tank buster, right? He is able to get a lot of value. He's going to provide a little bit more in these team fight situations. What I will say, one of the things I do like about ANGY's draft is they are very skirmish heavy, right? If they're able to catch someone off guard in these fights, it's going to be tough for TD Bless to turn around. But on the other side, TD Bless's front to back is absolutely nasty, right? There is so much damage coming out from a hyper carry Jinx that has a Lulu backing her up. Syndra, that champion is broken. She's going to get a lot of value here. I think ANGY, they got to play a little sneaky. They got to play a little skirmishy here. But I think this is going to be a banger game one.
Yeah, I think, of course, other than the Olaf, again, having that Ashe slow into the E by Seraphine just going to slow him down like crazy, and again have a perfect or have an almost guaranteed stun there. Assuming that is, they can actually chain that together, I think everyone but the Olaf is just going to have such a hard time against this Ashe. But that also just assumes that they are actually able to kind of combine or do well together, have that combination as well. And of course, and then as soon as you hit that, have the Ahri charm, have the Aatrox jump onto him. They have a lot of damage, but they have to time it just right.
100%. And I mean, hey, are we going to see if this front to back comp, this kind of like this meta comp is going to be able to go away, or is ANGY's skirmish heavy comp going to be able to take it? We're going to have to find out. It's going to be a banger game one, but we're going to cut to break and we're going to be right back as soon as the spectator delay ends for you guys.
keep running faster and faster. I don't know what we're after, yeah. We keep up with disaster, disaster. I'm thinking that they're after me. We're running like faster and faster. We're running like faster and faster. Mirrors on the wall, staring back at me. Stranger in the hall, frozen by the scene. Portraits seem to fade, he lost his centerpiece. Can't recall his face, I hope he'll rest in peace. Haunted by my mind, victim or the prey. Everything is fine, take me to my grave. Bury me alive, keeping me astray. Hard to say goodbye to who I am today. Everything is fine, take me to my grave.
We've officially made it to the Rift here for Game 1 between TD Blessed and ANGY. We're seeing it's going to be, looks like a standard 5-point as we see the Immortalized Legend and the other member of Faker. Both Fakers are hanging out mid lane here as it looks like it's going to be some standard stuff. Drop Dead's doing a good job of kind of not showing where he's going to be as he's the one who's showing up mid lane here.
Let's just see, Riven is over here. Top lane, Ward does go down for Sadness here, trying to spot out if they're going to try to do a late invade. But it looks like that both teams are just going to 5-point, kind of see what the other teams are doing. And of course, we have a little dance. Ooh, drop dead, throwing that axe already. Little BM right there, but we'll see how that's going to go for them.
A little annoying for, but it's not too much damage, right? She's just going to heal that up passively, so I don't think it'll be too much of a thing. But you got to be cautious here as the Ahri, right? Syndra has a lot of early poke, especially with that first strike. You really got to try to be dodging these Qs, right? You're going to need to be using these Ws to make sure you're not giving over free gold to the Syndra, because when she gets to late game, she is absolutely one-shotting you with those spheres.
Yeah, I saw a ping go down into the bot bush here, but it doesn't look like they're going to try to do a little jump onto him. So it looks like they're just going to sit there, wait for the minions to come in, and kind of do it. But it looks both the junglers are just going to stop in their top jungles. And so they rotate down to their bot lane, try to get maybe an early gank, get that scuttle crab. Which just means they're just going to get an isolated top lane here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly kind of surprised that both junglers are starting topside here. I would have expected them to be pathing up, because I think, honestly, playing to make sure that this Aatrox doesn't go for these kills, doesn't go for these action, because at the end of the day, I kind of view the both these bot lanes as kind of being snooze fests a little bit, right? I don't think there's going to be a lot of action, to be honest. You're playing Ashe Seraphine versus a Jinx Lulu, like there isn't these engaged supports that are going to try to make something happen, but maybe I could be wrong. Let's just say.
I think I'm looking at this and it is dodge is right there, one hand doing pretty good right there. But I think the reason why they're kind of pathing bot lane is in early levels, Skarner's gonna be able to like jump on to the Jinx, the Lulu, and try to get an early kill. So Olaf has to kind of like predict that and kind of stop those ganks that would happen. But also, as soon as level 6 happens, Olaf's just gonna try to go run bot lane, try to kill this Ashe, try to kill the Seraphine, because Ragnarok's just gonna do so much work here.
As we see, it looks like it's just going to be some traditional laning here, as we only see the really big lead as Ultimize has a little bit of a wave stacked here, pushing into top lane, but without Skarner in the way, there's no room for a dive, so it's just going to kind of be standard laning here, as both the Enchanter supports are trying to trade it out with each other, but we're not really seeing too much action yet.
I will say Physiology is doing pretty good on the trade there, kind of getting that Seraphine and Ashe a little lower than the Jinx, but ooh, the hits there definitely are feeling it, but I'm more surprised that Physiology still has so much mana compared to the Ashe, the Seraphine here, being able to kind of has already taken the pots though. That's not going to do very well for bot lane here though.
I will say this lane early is relatively hard for the Jinx Lulu, right? The poke from Outrage and Nintendo is a lot stronger just because of the way their champions function here. But if you get late game, you have a Lulu on the end of the day, and she's going to be able to get a lot more vision. But actually, speaking of vision, Ultimize's doing a great job of getting that deep ward there, but he unfortunately doesn't see anything, as we saw the Olaf path top side. But Olaf actually is looking to maybe make some shenanigans happen, but there is that ward.
There's a ward, yes.
So we're going to see if anything actually happens here. I doubt that any of these people are going to engage. I think Drop Dead is kind of buying a little bit of time for himself.
Look
but
at mid lane, though.
Sadness is trying to make something happen here mid lane, as he has a pretty decent angle on the Riven. I'm expecting at least the flash to come up, but he gets hit by the E. The charm lands. I think that's going to be enough. First blood goes over to Very Talented. Where is your flash,
bot lane
Riven?
as well,
But now
though.
cutting over to bot side. Drop Dead is capitalizing on the fact that we were busy up top, as one hand, he's able to get the trade-off, but we see Olaf is able to pick up that kill, so that's a 1-for-1.
Yeah, I think it's not it. Well, it's pretty bad that they did give it over first blood over to ANGY. I mean, that's still a kill over to the Olaf, right? Someone who needs that gold, wants to carry, but also that's Ghost and Exhaust out of Seraphine. So if ANGY, or if the Olaf can actually come down in the next couple minutes, and might be able to capitalize it. But there are still the flashes up though.
The flashes are still up, but I know we talked about that action mid, we talked about that action bot, but I also want to look top here, right? I'm seeing what it looks like the wave has been fixed, but Ultimize is trading a little aggressively here, trying to capitalize on the fact that he has the TP advantage, but Barbaric, he's getting caught by the W here, and I think it might be the end of the trade, but wave state, it's looking like it's pushing into Barbaric. Ultimize needs to find a way to get out here, but he's going to have the gold advantage, as he's already up 10 CS, but he's trading aggressively here. I'm talking a lot, but I don't think anything's happening this time.
No, but if you also see, that's also TP gone for Ornn. Ornn actually had to back to get the health here. Aatrox still has TP, so he's going to have that TP advantage if needed. But it also just means whenever Aatrox does go back, that's just going to be way more beneficial in a little bit after we have the TP back, or after Ornn gets the TP.
And I will say right now, the advantage top lane, Ultimize has gathered himself a pretty sizable lead, right? He has 12 CS. He has the TP advantage. This is not good. You are trading into someone who's going to come back with a base, going to come back with a lot stronger items, as he already dinged 6. This is not good. But actually, what is not good is Jackie might be getting caught out here, very talented, but she has the Foxfire, she has the Spirit Rush, so she's probably going to be fine. But Ultimite's looking to trade aggressively here as the E comes out, but it's not enough there. As we see, it looks like the members are positioning, trying aggressively here. Bot lane, as the wave is pushing into the side of TD Blessed. But
Yeah,
with
I will say,
Olaf
though,
in the area.
Skarner actually has not been seen yet, but they do know where Olaf is. They do know that he's bot jungle trying to clear down. So they can assume that Skarner is bot, but I mean, with these grubs up, TD Bless might think that Skarner might be trying to go for early grubs. The ward or the bird does come out from the ash trying to see where that Olaf is. He will be spotted on this ward. No, it doesn't look like.
No, it isn't.
Actually,
It is
they
a
won't
control
see.
ward, and we're seeing now the polymorph comes out as it looks like Nintendo Forever is down. The ghost comes out from Drop Dead. He's going on to Outrage here. Outrage, I don't think you got a way out of this, but Sadness, he's here to provide this rid. He gets
Doesn't
the
get the stun,
damage.
though.
They're on Drop Dead, but I think Outrage is gonna fall as Physiology picks up the kill. Sadness is fighting for his life, but I don't think it's enough. They're trying to pick up Drop Dead, but the shield
Very
is gonna be
talented
enough.
is in the area,
as
though.
one hand is firing, but Jackie's here, very talented, is in the area. The Spirit Rush comes out as the flash.
Doesn't
to
get
avoid
it, though.
He's lived 1 HP. This is the turnaround that they needed. The barrier's not gonna be enough as Seraphine's able to pick up that kill, and that is a great response there from inside of Angy. But now cutting up top, we see the Ornal.
Ooh, misses the
Why? I don't know
ulti.
what he's doing. He has no mana. Ultimate's is gonna run this guy down. But I think actually he's gonna back up. He didn't have those Qs available. And this is a little bit of a crazy situation, huh?
Yeah, I was surprised that I understand that Jinx does it, but there's a shield that comes out from Skarner. It's just too much to get just from one auto attack there. I mean, for there as well as top lane. I mean, that's flash down for Ornn. That's ult down. Yeah, you get the ult from Aatrox, but it's just not worth it. He just comes back, and I mean, now you're just behind. Aatrox is just gonna be able to farm the wave back and probably get a good component here. But yeah, that bot lane play, that was just, it was great that they did get the Ash, but not having Riven in the area to try to like stop this Ahri from coming down just kind of hurt
Riven
their
might be in the
chances.
area now. She does get spotted by that control ward, but I think if they're able to land the stun, but actually good job of slowing him down right the slow lane, but Outrage having to kite back as Physiology is going in, flash polymorphing. I think Outrage is having to kite around those Jinx traps. Are they going to be able to do enough damage? And with that ultimate, the Cole is gone, and that is what they needed there, as that Unleash power is going to be able to pick up that kill.
And as you see here, Drop Dead is actually just going to start the dragon here. They know that Skarner is on the grub, so it's just it's just going to be a trade there, a simple trade. Actually, Nintendo's in the area, going to hit Physiology.
Nintendo's finding Physiology here. Physiology is very low with no mana, but actually, the level up might have been enough to save him there. One hand getting exhausted here, but the traps forced to flash. That is so unfortunate there for the side of Nintendo. He thought he had the pick, but unfortunately, that's just a dragon over to the side of TD Blessed.
Yeah, that was really close. Physiology didn't have flash or heal in that situation, so I'm actually impressed that Lulu was able to get out in that thing. Of course, that is really unfortunate for the Seraphine, as that's flash. Bot lane does not have any flashes right now, so a good jump in from or a good gank from the Olaf can do a lot here. But this top lane, again, if you look at this top lane, it's not looking good for the Ornn.
It's not looking fantastic, but I will say the wave is kind of fixed. It is pushing back into Barbaric, so he's going to be able to pick it up. It's relatively even, but honestly, one thing I wanted to note is the CS discrepancy. It went down a little bit, but Riven choosing not to roam on some of these timers, get these waves pushed in, kind of has a bit of a CS lead, right? And he was able to pick up that kill. This is where you want to be as Sindra, right? You're kind of happy to be sitting in this lane, make sure it's pushed out. And
Drop Dead's in the area though.
Scale, but yeah, we see actually Physiology's up top with the surprise gank. Ornn trying to get the ultimate off. The force and the flash is out from Ultimize, as it looks like it's going to be nothing else, as they don't really have any more follow-up here, but really nice roam there from Physiology, forcing out that flash, but actually seeing a little bit more aggressive trading here, not respecting the fact that Lulu could just show up.
Skarner's coming down though. As you can see, this might be a tower dive for ANGY. I mean, this Jinx doesn't have flash, does have barrier, but that's it. The ultimate's not going to help much, and as soon as they get a stun under the wall, there's not much that this Jinx can actually do.
I think one hand with no sums is going to be in a bit of a pickle here. As we see the stun lands, great job from Sadness as the ultimate comes out, the Impale, and it's going to be a kill over to Nintendo Forever again. Honestly, I'm kind of sad if I'm Outrage. I'm not picking up any kills, but hey, kills over to Nintendo is still pretty good.
Yeah, actually, Physiologist in the area. It doesn't have flash as well. This might be a little risky, but it looks like Nintendo and Sadness are just going to kind of walk away here. I think that would have been a great re-tower dive there, but I guess because they used the Skarner ult already, they're a little nervous to try to jump in on there.
But now I'm kind of looking over mid lane, right? I'm seeing that Riven, he goes for the stun, and that is a really free angle in for Nintendo Forever. But the charm, it lands. We're going to see a double charm. A good flash there from Riven to make sure that he doesn't get double charmed there. He's not going to get charmed by two of them. He's only in love with one that time, as he's able to get out that time. I said that.
Yeah, I mean, that is a flash used, but again, that is the only benefit is you now don't have Seraphine ult, but that just comes up way too quick for that to really be worth it. And I think that was a great kind of win there for the side of ANGY. Ooh, does get the cannon, so it is now a -1 there.
As we're seeing now, the gold lead is starting to go to the side of ANGY a little bit, right? The kills are even, but it's about a 1K gold lead at this point. That isn't too crazy at this point in the game. It's not much. It's kind of like a longsword, basically, for a couple members. But I do think this game has been relatively even. But I gotta think the scaling over on the side of TD Blast is starting to scare me a little bit for ANGY.
Yeah, but I will say, look at the bot lane CS. Yes, the Ashe has died 3 times, but Ashe is almost 30 CS up on the Jinx. Jinx only has the boots, but you're gonna see the Ashe has the pickaxe, has the coal, gonna have a lot of gold there as well that can come in. So it's gonna be a little interesting to see if, yes, Ashe has died 3 times, but is that gonna kind of offset the almost 30 gold or 30 CS difference here?
Honestly, hey, I'm looking mid right now. As we see, the stun does land on very talented, but the Sadness is coming in with the pile driver. He's going in. He lands it. He lands the impale. There it is, a no flash from that gank earlier. I think this is going to be a kill, as actually Sadness takes it. I'm surprised. I would have expected Jackie to be able to get that. Very talented, but not this time, as it looks like the Ari is just going to be happy to pick up that cannon as a consolation prize.
I'm actually a little also surprised that Seraphine didn't try to steal it again. But that is now 2 plates over to the Aatrox here, doing really good against this Ornn. Yes, Ornn now has an item, but I think that as soon as Aatrox backs, that should be also an item for him. And looking bot lane here, we just have both ADCs solo laning. Again, we see the Seraphine, we see the Lulu really rotating around, but that is going to be that's going to be all 6 scrubs actually. Ooh, arrow comes out. We're going to see is this going to hit someone?
Is it a Legends Never Die arrow? It does not hit anybody, so it's going to be a field goal there, but we actually see they are positioning very aggressively for this fight. As the charm does go wide, it's not going to land on Barbaric Champion. I'm surprised. They got to make a play now. Syndra's finally here. They're going for something as the Ornn ultimate. It lands on Sadness. That's not the champ I want to hit, but Olaf, he's going in. He's saying charge Demacia. He finds Nintendo. They kill Nintendo immediately. Riven picks up the kill as they're chasing out Very Talented. Very Talented is running away here, but we see the remaining members of ANGY are able to get out of this one, but the Jinx rocket, not going to hit anybody this time.
Yeah, I think that wasn't that bad actually for the side of TD Blast, and yet they did get at least 1 grub, so they don't have the double grub actually for the side of ANGY. And I mean, you still got one. Yeah, you lost 2 grubs, but you got one. You didn't lose one yourself, which I'm actually more surprised about. And that was still that's pretty much all the ultimates. Now, summoner spells are not actually, there's not much change actually. It doesn't look like anyone had it up for that fight. They're all just getting it back right now. Lulu is actually in the area.
Yeah, they're pinging aggressively here onto Outrage. As we see, the root goes out. Jinx is able to land it, but it's not going to be enough damage, especially with Nintendo in the area. As it looks like Ultimate is just using the fact he has his counter pick matchup. He's just trying to trade aggressively with Barbaric, which is the move. But we're seeing some aggressive pings there as the stun does not land, but the charm does. As Riven looks to be caught out, the flash is forced out. She doesn't have the Spirit Rush here, but Sadness is in the area, doing a great job of using the Skarner to enable that ultimate to keep going here as they find Drop Dead. Is he going to be able to go in? He's charmed. They don't have enough damage. That is a massive stun. It lands on 3, but the Impale is able to land on 2 in the back. Do they be able to pick up the kill on Drop Dead? They are with the smite. One hand is next. Nintendo picks up the 3rd kill of the game. This is a great swing for the side of ANGY.
Yeah, definitely. Again, the ult timers for RAR or for TD Blast are just so much longer than they are for the side of ANGY, and they're just able to use the ults, kind of force it into kind of a 2v4 here just because.
Oh, we see the stun lands on the Riven, but the ultimate great arrow there from Outrage as they're able to pick up the kill, and it looks like Physiology is going to be following right behind as that Foxfire is going to be enough. Ari picks up that kill, and this is just a great swing of things. Is also the top lane tower fell for ANGY as Ultimate is using the fact, hey, I'm going to bully you, Ornn, and they are getting so much value here.
I mean, that Skarner is just getting so strong right now. Like, has the Hull Breaker gonna go for another item here, and of course Ari having the Malignant and with such a short ult timer, it's just gonna do so much damage. Yeah, you don't have much on the Ashe, but Ashe is 40 CS up already on this Jinx. That's insane already, and that's a 4K gold lead already at 14 minutes. This game is kind of already putting TD Blast on the back foot.
I will say they're on the back foot, but like I say, I keep saying it, this scaling comp is still really, really strong from the side of TD Blast. I think that 4K gold lead, it's still a lot, but this game is a lot closer than we're making it out to be. Unless ANGY is able to just end this game in like 10 minutes, I think we're going to have a bit of a banger on our hands.
We will have to see there again. Looks like Ashe is just going to be rotating mid lane. We see the Ari rotating bot. Actually, we'll get
as the charm does land on the Physiology here. Very talented, doing a good job of trying to get some damage out. As it looks like with the one hand following her back, there's not going to be anything else there. But I do like the fact that they're finally switching over Outrage and Nintendo over to this mid lane, right? They're trying to bust down this turret, trying to find the angle here. And I think with Ari, she has these 2 kills. She's pretty strong. I think isolated, she might be able to get these kills on Jinx, on the Syndra. But we see they're rotating back. They're doing a great job of making sure, hey, we're not going to let you get this advantage.
Yeah, I think it was great to rotate to the maxi mid just because Rifttail's here. You see Skarner's probably going to go clear the chickens here.
Yes, but the
Little
stun does
damage
land
onto
as we see the
Talon,
ultimate.
okay.
That, oh my gosh, that is so much damage there from the Syndra. As that unleashed power actually does a ton of work.
Actually, Physiology might be left, out in the
Yeah, but
open
we
here.
see,
Oh,
yep, cutting in mid, we see that the big Qgify lands, but Sadness taking tower. I don't think they have enough damage. They don't have enough follow-up as the arrow, it lands onto one hand, but with that tower following you back, I don't think it's even enough. And even with this stun, we see all members are here trying to make sure nothing happens, but that tower is saying no fun allowed.
I will say though, as you can see, Ari is actually moving down, trying to stop the Syndra from taking turret. But the only problem here is that Ari doesn't have TP, Syndra does. So if they do try to have a fight onto this Rifttail, Syndra's going to be able to get into the fight way earlier than the Ari's going to be able to, and that could turn a 4v5 into the favor of TD Blast.
I think there's going to be a lot of action around this Rift Herald, right? As we see, a lot of pings are coming out from both sides. Both people are aware of the action. They're going to be aware of what's happening here. But I kind of like the situation for Bless. As it looks like they're pinging, but if they play this front to back, especially with Syndra potentially trying to move in, going for this play, we'll see if they go for it as they're positioning not too aggressively. Maybe they're looking to find some space. As Barbaric finds Nintendo, this Q lands, but we see Riven. TP's coming out. I think they're looking for an action here. Drop Dead is the first in. They're trying to go for the Herald. Sadness having to go back for it, but they find Ultimates. He's forced to flash out. Drop Dead is getting involved. He pops the Ragnarok. He's charging in. He finds Outrage. The charm does land. It's able to hit a lot, but Barbaric is the one who's able to pick that up.
Olaf in the background, though.
Olaf is getting so much damage done. Nintendo is going to be the next to fall as Riven is trying to force it. Forcing out the flash. I don't think it's going to be enough as Drop Dead. He lands the axe. It's not enough to kill, though. Is that final axe going to be enough? It's not! As Nintendo picks up the return kill. And that is great, but I think Physiology might be able to pick up this kill. As actually, she's doing a great job of saving it for her carries. And we see a nice zapper there to finish off that kill. And that is a great swing there for TD.
Yeah, but that does mean a bot lane turret does go over to ANGY. Of course, you see Ari was able to pick it up. Doesn't have TP, wasn't able to help that fight out there. But yes, that really does give a benefit over to the side of TD Bless because the Jinx now has a kill. Olaf was able to do a lot of work, but it's still going to be... You weren't able to kill the Skarner, who has a shutdown. Because Ari is bot lane. You can't get the shutdowns here. Yeah, they have... Oh, actually, TP in from the...
Actually, TPing behind here from Aatrox. They are trying to punish one hand. I think both these bot laners, the bot lane and support, are dead. As we see the flash come out, it's a little bit overzealous here, man. You got 3 people on you, and Ari's able to pick up this kill. Is that Spirit Rush going to be able to pick up Physiology here? Is the minion wave coming in? Very talented. Not able to hit it there.
Yeah, well, at least that is still a 1v1, one for both. Of course, yeah, you had to use the flash for the Syndra, and that is Jinx flash, but that's still not that bad, actually, for the side of TD Bless. They might even get a bot turret here on the next wave.
I do think it is very possible here. Aatrox is in the area. Ultimize is trying to stop this, but I think with Olaf also here, I think this tower is going to drop. I'm surprised Ornn's backing here. I think you just overload the tower with your Olaf here. Just make sure this guy doesn't get it out, but no harm, no foul, as Drop Dead's just going to be able to pick up that up for himself.
It looks like Shuttlecrab is available in the bot scene on the bot river, but there's just a lot of wards that they're going to have to clear out because Dragon comes up in actually 10 seconds, so it's going to be interesting to see, are they going to have to fight for it? Ornn is going top lane, does have the TP. Ari doesn't actually have the TP, but it looks like Ari is just going to rotate down here for this drag fight. Rift Herald is put down. Looks like they're just going to try to force TD Bless to focus on this tower because of the Rift Herald while they just freely take this dragon.
I'm kind of surprised even we're seeing this TP come out from Ornn here. I think with the vision setup that ANGY has, Riven is trying to find an angle, but we see, ooh, nice dodge there on the ultimate, but we see, actually, 2-man stun. They might find the angle here as Nintendo gets absolutely popped. Is it going to be enough as the Q does land? But Olaf is doing so much damage in the back lane. This is a really good fight for TD Bless as the Jinx is untouched. Riven finds the angle there, but they're trying to retreat. Ultimize might be able to get a good amount of value here as the Impale only lands onto Olaf. That's not the target you want. Jinx is unleashed, but Aatrox getting so much value, doing so much damage here. She's just playing front to back. She doesn't get the reset. She doesn't have enough damage here. Very talented. Gets the shit. She gets the reset. But Jinx is now excited. We're going to see if this is going to be enough as she's trying to fire. Is she going to be able to pick up the kill on Ultimate? Yes, she is. And this is now not looking good for the side of ANGY as one hand is able to pick up that triple kill. And the pressure and the strength of this hyper carry Jinx is finally unleashed here.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little scared there just because the amount of tankiness and the lifesteal that the Aatrox has, that the Skarner has, the Jinx wasn't able to really do much. All she has really is a Kraken Slayer, so it's not that much of a tank buster right now. but still being able to get the reset on the Ari. I think Ari was a little jealous right there, trying to go in for that kill onto the Ornn, try to just get anything they can. But just because of that, the Jinx was able to get excited off that and was able to just punish.
One
Actually,
hand that
though,
you might have gotten potentially caught out here as Nintendo is trying to stop these bases, but with Ash not really in the area and that E coming out, I think it's not going to be enough. But they're going for
Ash
the
arrow?
arrow. It's
Doesn't hit.
Legends Never Die arrow as it chooses to miss. In one hand, he's sitting on 2.5k in his inventory right now. That is going to be a hefty penny, and he is going to be happy to spend that when he goes back to base.
Yeah, definitely. So, of course, the gold is still in the favor of ANGY by 2k, but it's still really close. It's going to be interesting to see who's takes it on that. I do think this next fight, there is a Baron, but I don't think no one really has the advantage for that Baron. The next Dragon is up in 3.5 minutes, so it's going to be interesting to see. Are they just going to try to do pressure mid lane? Because, again, both mid lane turrets are still up. That's just standing gold for both teams. They're going to be interesting to see who actually wants to take it.
As we're seeing some aggressive trading top lane, but at the end of the day, that's an Ornn. It's going to be hard to break through that guy, but I think that team fight actually has a lot more implications than we're leading on, right? Jinx picking up a triple kill. This is where you want to be. That Jinx, especially when you get to the 3-item spike, is going to be a problem. And if the Aatrox is not able to find this angle on them, it's going to be so tough for the side of ANGY to be able to shut her down. I think there are still angles here. Ari is doing a great job of capitalizing on potentially the misplays from the side of TD Bless, but with a Lulu, it's a little tough.
Yeah, we'll say, though, that is Storm Surge, actually, for the Syndra. And, of course, Storm Surge within this current, the 14.19 patch, really did actually get a buff here, even though it was nerfed. It wasn't nerfed as much as all the other items. So that's just going to do a lot of damage here and be able to, like, either one-shot these Ashe, one-shot this Seraphine, who don't have something like the stopwatch and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I mean, one thing we haven't mentioned yet is this Syndra is already at, I believe, 92 stacks at this point. She is pretty ahead, right? Once she gets that 120s power spike, even the 100 splinters power spike, she is going to be doing a lot of work. And even though Riven died in that fight early, they were able to get so much value, as we see a lot of value here from that stun come out. Oh my gosh, that's absolutely diabolical there for Riven. We talk about how strong this Syndra is. If you land that E once, that champion will pop you like a balloon. And it just saw it right there. We're going to see there's going to be nobody contesting this top wave here. That's a Syndra moment if I've ever seen one. And right now, it looks like the momentum is kind of swinged over to the side of TD Bless as we see the Zapper lands on an Outrage, but with that tower...
inside, though. Doesn't look like going to do anything, though.
Yeah, Riven is just attacking this bot lane tier 1, but Sadness finds the angle, but I don't think Drop Dead's the person you want here, as they're trying to get a lot of damage out, but they're in a weird spot, right? They're fighting, forcing out the flash there from Sadness, and I think that's just not the angle you want, right? We see that even with the Ornn in the area, we did see the Seraphine also had to use Exhaust there as well. That is not a great trade.
Yeah, all they had to use was just...
But the arrow! It finds the target it needs! The two-man charm! Is it going to be enough? It's one-handed. Sadness is on Jinx, but I think he's the only person doing damage. Jackie's trying to get some damage off as Drop Dead is going to finally fall. Sadness is buying a lot of time for his carries here. Outrage is playing front to back. They're trying to kill one hand. They're able to get it. This is a great turnaround from the side of ANGY. Very talented. Still has 3 charms. I'm surprised she's not going for it. Not using the ultimate to readjust. I'm very surprised. It's going to be enough. And actually, this might be the turn that they needed, but now cutting down bot side, I wasn't even able to see it. But Riven picks up another solo kill over onto Ultimize.
Yeah, but with this, that's Baron gone actually for the side of that's Baron for ANGY here. I mean, that was a great mid lane fight, able to capitalize on kind of the Olaf already using Ragnarok, being able to get the stuns from the Ashe ult, from the Seraphine ult. And I mean, as soon as the Ragnarok's gone, there's not much that TD Bless can actually do, and they just capitalize on it now. They took a mid turret and they get Baron off of this.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta be thinking about, like, hey, taking the small ones, being okay with it, but ooh, that ultimate, if it was lethality, Jinx would have absolutely popped that Fox, but it's not enough this time, as she's just forced it back a little bit later. But honestly, I want to talk about it, right? They got a lot of stuff off of that initial fight, right? They got the Seraphine Exhaust, they got the Olaf Flash, but they kind of stayed a little bit extra. And then, you know what? Outrage with the awesome Enchanted Crystal Arrow, able to find Jinx, and that is the exact target that you need. This is going to be hard, but I think that is a fight you need. As Riven finds Nintendo Forever, he's not going to use ulti. He's saving it, but that Blast Cone, it's going to be enough, as even though they took Baron, Drop Dead doing a great job of still keeping this Dragon game pretty even.
It actually was Aatrox ult pop there, kind of being a little scared of the Syndra here. Now, I do want to kind of let everyone look at those items for the Syndra. That is almost the death cap right there. That's going to be so much damage for Syndra. She's just going to be able to, of course, you really see her one tap. Well, she's about to be able to one tap the Aatrox, one tap the Skarner with that.
And I mean, right there, yeah, this Riven has gotten a lot of value, right? We've seen the solo kill on both of the solo laners here. And right now, she is sitting on that, I believe, 1,100 gold. And that's enough for the needlessly large death cap. And it's going to be pretty nice. And if Syndra's in these fights, it's going to be really, really hard. I think they were able to capitalize that Syndra was kind of hanging out on the bot side, as she's still bot side, but you got to be cautious here for both sides. They're playing both on nice edge.
Yeah, they still have Baron buffs, so that's still going to do a lot of damage here, and be able to push these turrets here, make sure that's happening. Actually, Olaf might be a little pushed out just because Skarner is in the area, and of course we have this mid lane turret taking so much damage here, and it might go out. Actually, Riven's doing a lot of damage onto the Aatrox, isn't going to do much, but that is mid turret taken here. That's just so much gold over to the side of ANGY just from this one Baron play that they were able to take.
And honestly, I want to talk about it. I'm really surprised they're not keeping Riven over in the mid fights, right? I think you need Riven. Riven is honestly one of the strongest members, if not the strongest member at this point in the game. And while I think Syndra can get some value out of the sideline, we've seen her one-shot a couple people. I think it's maybe just the fact that you're defending this this Baron play, but that's a lot of damage from the Syndra, and I think you want her in these fights.
Yeah, keeps getting bot lane. I assume that they're doing it just because they want that bot turret. It's so low, but Syndra doesn't even have TP up yet, so that's going to be interesting to see if ANGY is actually going to try to start a fight before that TP comes up, kind of get that 4v4. Because I do think that 4v4 without Syndra for ANGY is going to be a win there.
And I mean, we got to also consider the amount of time until these next objectives, right? That's kind of when you're forced to go for these 5v5 fights. But I think still the 5v5 side is still really good for TD. I know I keep talking about it, but like we look at this gold lead, but I think it's kind of fake, right? I think a 5k gold lead at the end of the day is more kind of like that 1k gold lead. These fights are going to be close, and I think it's really going to depend on who's feeling themselves, right? Who's going to be able to execute on the day, on the play. And it's really going to kind of come down to which carries are going to be able to pop off here.
Yeah, I think that if Jinx is able to get excited off of a kill, that's going to do a lot of work for the side of TD+. Again, this Syndra here, being able to, hoping that the Jinx is definitely hoping that she's actually going to be able to get a hit onto any of the champions before Syndra just one-taps them, just to get that extra attack speed and everything to kind of try to melt this Aatrox, try to melt this Skarner before they actually heal up to full health again from the Sterix gauge, from all the lifesteal that Aatrox has during his ult and everything.
As we see, Syndra has now finally gotten her max stacks. As we see the stun lands, I think that's another kill. Oh! That was you don't even need the ultimate. That was absolutely just a destruction there. But they're trying to collapse onto Riven. They find the angle here. As Sadness is going to be able to pull back Riven, I think Riven is realizing, hey, I might be cooked at this point. They might go for the play, but the stun doesn't land. And Outrage with that magical crystal Oracle. But we see on the top side, we see a lot of turning. Even though Aatrox is a raid boss, I think with 4 people, it's going to be tough. As Jinx picks up the kill, and that's a trade for trade on these mid laners.
Yeah, actually TP over from the Orin, trying to stop that turret being taken. It might be. Nice. It looks like it. He might stop it if he uses ult. No, he does actually have ult, actually. So I think this is just bot turret gone here. That's gonna hurt for TD Blast here. Having Syndra continuously kind of push that bot lane, and now just the bot lane going out. I mean, now you're kind of forced to move Syndra up here to this mid lane.
But I mean, on the bright side for TD Bliss, it looks like the Jinx did stay to try to push in this tower. But we see Ahri is trying to make a play. I honestly think that one hand could burst this down pretty fast. Oh yeah, that tower is gone. Definitely. That is paper. But still, that is pretty scary. Like, we're seeing how much damage this Syndra can get. I want to see her in these team fights, right? You gotta stop solo laning, man. You will provide so much in these 5v5 situations. And with that dragon coming up in less than a minute, I think we might be able to see it.
30 seconds left on the dragon here. It's gonna be infernal. No one actually TP in from Ahri. Gonna try to position already. The Jinx and the Olaf are behind, so I think actually is this gonna be a Fnatic death brush here? Anyone that walks into it.
Yeah, we see the brush. I really like the fact that ANGY was able to get here early, right? I think that the members of TD Bless are going for this play, but I think that ANGY is in a much better position right now. They're going for this play. As we see, the Hawk shot does come out as Outrage. They do find the angle here, but with that control ward coming out, we're going to see if anything happens, as it looks like we might be seeing that final standard 5v5, but it's going to be hard. As we see, the stun does land on Jackie, on Very Talented, but it's not going to be enough there as we see Angy's going to be the first to start up this dragon. Is Drop Dead going to be able to find the angle he needs? The charm does go wide. They're kind of feeling each other out. They're playing this disco. They're playing this tango. And we're going to see if Drop Dead, he's going in.
Ghost
He
comes
uses
out.
the ghost. He's able to land the ults. We see the Ragnarok coming out. Bro, Masia, is it going to be enough? We see Hugify. Oh my gosh, it's so much damage as Nintendo Forever falls first.
three
But we
mans.
see Ari's able to pick up the kill. Jinx is trying to do enough damage in the back, but Syndra, they are untouched. The carries. Oh my gosh, this fight is so close. That is a 2-man stun. It is a battle.
Riven's
And we
down,
see
though. Riven's
it's just
down.
the 80 carry. It's the 80 carry to support Jackie. Not able to land it. And that is a triple. That is not the fight you want to see for Angy as the one hit. Oh my god, look how fast he's attacking the dragon. That is so much damage, and this hyper carry has gotten unlocked.
Yeah, I think that was a great play from one hand, being able to like stay back. Yeah, that looked a little doomed actually right in the middle of the fight from TD Bless, just because the Sterix gauge that was coming out from the Aatrox, from the Skarner, was just so much shielding there. But it looks like with this, I mean, they finally avenged Riven being able to take that bot turret like she's been trying to do for this entire time, and they're just gonna probably move mid and try to push this mid wave out.
I'm gonna be so honest, that fight was literally a like coin flip away from going anybody's way, right? If Jackie was able to land that flash ultimate or the flash E onto the Jinx, that was a completely different fight, right? And they just got lucky there. I think Physiology, they don't even have the Mikhails yet. There's no cleanse, but One Hand just doing a great job of playing it patient, just willing to, hey, I'm just gonna blast whatever's in front of me. And they were able to get a triple kill out of the end of it, and it's an 8-kill Jinx with a Lulu to back you up. Ugh, that's scary.
And Jinx having the IE is just going to do so much. You can see the difference in items here. Jinx has 4 items, while Ashe only has, now actually has the 3. But that's still again a whole item difference. It's not gonna be fun for that Ashe. And of course,
Yeah,
we
and I
do
think
see
right
on the
now-
side of Syndra. Syndra does have the Death Cat, has the Ornn upgrade on the Death Cap as well, and just gonna go for probably start fire either.
I'm expecting
Or-
that's a Shadow Flame, looking
or
at
Shadow
that
Flame,
build path here, as it looks like it's going to be close to being completed here. As I think she needs about 100 to 200 more gold until that item is online. I think right now, if you are the members of TD Bless, you're okay to kind of play this game patient, right? Look for these angles, look for these objectives, right? But if you're the members of Angy, you got to be kind of looking for some miracles at this point. But
Sadness is
we're
the
seeing if that
background,
miracle's
bro.
going to happen now as they find the angle onto Physiology. They go for the stun as Nintendo's able to finish it off on the back, but they don't have
Riven's
enough damage on the
damage, though.
retreat as Riven is getting popped, but it's a popping retreat. Ah,
Double!
they're able to land the double kill with that Jinx rocket. I'm kind of surprised that hit, to be honest with you. But sad as he's forced to retreat, but it looks like he's going to be in the middle of nowhere. He's getting chased down by Drop Dead, and it looks like Drop Dead's going to be able to find it. But Jackie doing a great job of trying to buy some space. Very talented, trying to get the charm off, but I don't think it's enough, as this looks like it's going to be a Baron over to the side of TD Blessed.
This is a little risky though, because Sadness is still alive. I mean, yeah, he's behind, but that's still a smite fight. But it looks like they're still just gonna take it, no problems there. And I'm surprised they're not just gonna run in. Skarner is there, but I don't think they know, so they're just gonna back. Skarner is gonna be able to get out alive.
Yeah, Skarner was kind of just in a weird spot there. He was forced to run away, and with the fact that the vision is pretty good on the other side, but that doesn't matter, as we see Barbaric is going for the ultimate, going for that Ram Horn onto Ultimice. Ultimice might be caught out here as a great follow-up stun there from Riven. Ultimice is going to fall. The World Ender is going to fall, as actually the Jinx ultimate, not enough, but the Unleashed power from Syndra, that's definitely enough.
That was just a lot of damage there. Of course, Riven is so powerful as the Shadow Flame now. And I'm actually surprised Jinx is actually caught up. Ooh. Jinx is actually caught up in kills, in gold and everything, coming from, a 0, 2, and 3, now up to 10, 5, and 6.
As we do see now, they have this Baron power play, right? They have the man advantage. They're going to use the fact that they have this leverage here. I think they're able to find the fight as forces out the flash. Syndra, she's just able to go for these stuns willy-nilly, and it does not matter. They're able to find so much value here, because if they land anything, that is a dead target on the side of Angy. As we see this Baron power play is coming out, we see a traditional 4-1, as it looks like this mid wave is being tried to push in, but Barbaric doing a great job of making sure there's a matched wave on the other side. But what isn't considered is the other wave down top side isn't looking as good, but we're going to see if they're going to try to keep this Baron power play going.
I think they know that Aatrox and Ahri probably don't want to TP in that. I guess they can probably get a turn out of it, but what else?
The Charm lands and the ultimate to follow it up. I don't think it's enough, though, as you do have a Lulu to back you up. It's going to be tough here, as I'm surprised we're seeing 4 people here on the side of TD Blessed, all in this mid lane. I think they've really wanted to fall, but I think you need to really split up your pressure here, split up your Baron. Because at the end of the day, you're only able to buff up the Barons once, right? You need to be able to buff up all lanes in this situation. I'm kind of surprised Ornn's hanging out over here. Maybe you send someone, maybe send Riven, maybe send Drop Dead over there. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see again. Like we have the look at the bot wave. I mean, it's all the way down almost to it's to the two Rars tier one or sorry, Angie's tier one here, and of course, the top lane has kind of pushed back. Is slowly pushing back in, but I don't think it's that's still a
Ooh.
lot of gold that TD Bless is losing. And
But
actually,
we see
little
that stun does not land over on the side of Nintendo, right? I think that might have been a one-shot Seraphine if that was the case. But it looks like they're kind of just playing on this one-for-one situation. But the enchanted arrow lands on a Riven. They're finding the angle. They're going in. We see so many ultimates coming out here from Ultimites. But that is a lot of damage. One hand
Riven
is
is
not
still
touched
alive,
in the
though.
back.
Look at the
Ultimates
damage.
gets the reset. One hand is down. He able to pick up the double. This could be a penta here. As we see, Riven able to get that unleashed power on Jackie. And that is a 1-for-3 over to the side of TD Bless. It might be more as we see the flash coming out from Outrage. I got lost in the sauce there. There was a lot going on, but that is not good for Angie, I can tell you that.
I'm surprised they're not just gonna go back and just go for kind of walk to the dragon. I mean, that puts them onto Soul, but I guess they're like, we can end this here. There's still 33 seconds on the Skarner, but that's still the slow and stuns from the from.
Nice
Oh,
two-man
and
stun
as
there
soon as
on the
that
Nintendo.
happens, I say that,
Oh
and
my! I keep saying it every time, but Riven is doing so much damage as they're able to pick up that double kill, and it looks like they're going to be able to pick up a lot more as they pick up these two Nexus towers. And you know what they're picking up? Game
50
one of this
gold.
series.
Yep, that is actually TD Bliss taking game one. Very surprising there, just because again, I think most of us assumed that Engie was gonna really roll pretty hard coming into it. They were 16-2 coming into playoffs, and they went 3-1 against Braum in a very one-sided fashion, and here they are losing already game one of the grand finals.
I'm going to be so honest here, Launches. I kind of think a lot of that was just the draft, right? I think you
Yes.
have so much of a win condition, like so many win conditions, right? You get so many strong champions over on the side of TD Bless, right? I think the fact that Syndra fell to B5 is so criminal. That champ is so strong. And the fact that it's paired with a Jinx Lulu who are able to survive that, right? Riven doing 44k damage, absolutely putting on a clinic, making it so that Jackie, very talented, was in a really bad spot there. They were able to find picks, but I think in the true 5v5, they're forcing that 5v5. It's so tough there. And I really want to see a little bit more priority on these picks here for the side of Angie here.
Mm-hmm. And it's gonna be interesting to see if Engie wants actually to, because of course they do get pick again, and it looks like they are going back to red side. I think they love that last pick counter, but if they kind of have letting that Syndra go, letting that the Jinx go, that might hurt Engie in the long run here.
Mm-hmm. And I'm honestly just looking back at some of the bands that came out from Angie, right? We saw the Garen. I'm really surprised that was one of the priority. I think you got to either remove the Jinx or the Syndra, especially when you're going back to red side here. I think that Garen has lost a lot of priority. And I know Riven, he's a little spicy. He'll pull out some stuff, but that Syndra, that Jinx, they got to go. Those were absolutely unleashed there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna see if again Syndra is gonna be a ban, or is that just gonna be a first pick over for TD Bless? I mean, if they do have first pick here, of course they might be afraid of that counter pick, but I think the Syndra is just so strong, it is just worth first picking. Assuming that again something like the Jinx isn't on the table, because again it's a situation of do they want Jinx, do they want Syndra, do they want someone like Jin or Kaisa, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see what changes they are having to this draft for game two.
hmm I mean, like I said, I think we have seen Jackie or very talented. I keep saying it, right? I know this person, but very talented and really needs to, I guess, utilize that champ pool. I think Ari is strong, but I don't think she's the strongest on the meta, right? I'm looking at this Syndra. I'm looking at this Oriana as he's kind of like meta picks mid lane right now. I think there's just so much strength in this hyper scaling innately in your kit for mid lane, especially. And I think if you're able to find the angle, she got a lot of stuff done, right? She was 7-4-10 at one point, but I think it's gonna have to be I need a little bit more of like kind of this like standard like oh this is traditional League of Legends this 5v5 action if I think we're going to be able to match TD Bless's comps that they want to go with.
Mm-hmm. So while the teams are of course situating, and we are getting into the game two draft very soon here. Again, if anyone's just joining us, TD Bless does take game one against the favorites of Angie, and again they are choosing blue side. So we will see how that's going to affect all the drafts, and but I don't think there's gonna be too much. Except maybe the Garen ban might go away and be substituted with that Jinx with that Syndra. But I think other than that, I think the bans are gonna be very similar.
Mm-hmm. 100%. And I know I didn't get to talk about it game one, but I kind of wanted to talk about a potential like insider interview I got to do kind of with very talented, right? I got to reach out to her. I'm a member of one of the teams in the org that she's associated with, and I was able to kind of talk about the mid lane matchup because if you guys don't know, Riven was originally a member who tried out for the ANGY squad. So it is very interesting. I think he was originally a sub for the roster. He unfortunately was not able to make it at the time, but it just so happens the schedule was able to open up for him. He found himself on an opposing team, and they found each other in finals here. So I really do think that is the matchup to watch. Right? We saw Riven was able to pop off here, but I want to see a response from very talented, and I think she's going to be able to do it here.
Yeah, so looks there might be a 5-minute break here for the side or for the two teams, but we will see in a second if that's going to go through or not. Um, and
This
no, it
looks
looks
like
like
they're
it's
gonna go
not.
ahead and get it started. Yeah, they said, "Hey, we're happy to keep this going." As we're gonna see some return bans here. Kaisa coming out again from TD Bless. It's one of Outrage's best, but I really want to see some draft adaptations here for the side of Anki. I want to see some of these champions banned. I don't think your bans were as valuable. I think Poppy's fine. I think it shuts down a lot of the enabling junglers that Drop Dead will want to play, but I just think Garen is not the move. But Amumu, Sadness is not going to get it the rest of this series.
Mhm.
There's no shot. As we see, Garen comes out
There
again. Never
again.
mind. I guess I'm completely
I,
wrong.
I wouldn't think that Garen really would be that powerful right now. Yeah, Garen's played, but now the 14 or the 14-19 patch is not as big. I would have loved to see a Syndra ban, a Jinx ban, seeing kind of that adaptation they have, and it looks like there's gonna be a Jarvan ban as well. But there's the Jinx ban that comes
Okay.
out, stopping. Ooh, what was banned last game?
And they chose to go with the Udyr.
Udyr,
That
yep.
was the replacement, right? They chose, hey, you left it up. We're immediately first picking Udyr here. I think it is one of Drop Dead specialties, but I do think it is a little bit weaker than that first pick Jinx. There are a lot of responses, but I do know a lot of my jungler friends, they really don't like playing against the Bear Man.
It's gonna be interesting to see. Are they going to pick up the Syndra here? Again, Syndra's open. Yeah, they might get pound pick, but again, it's just strong enough. Looks like Lilia actually gonna be picked here for Sadness. Sadness has been doing pretty well on that Lilia, being able to do a lot of damage and being able to like carry the team when in need. But that's gonna be interesting to see if Lilia's gonna be able to like burn through the Udyr, assuming Udyr is
Yeah,
going tank in this situation.
I think Lilia does have the opportunity, but I think honestly, a lot of people consider this a counter pick, but
Oh,
I actually think
with
it's
the
the other
cog.
way. We'll talk about that a little later. As we see Kog'Maw, who I think is the strongest AD carry on the patch, is the one who's coming out here, leaving open the opportunity here for they're going to try to snag that Lulu on 3, but we're going to see if the on the side of TD Blessed Physiology is going to be able to pilot it this time.
Yeah, I'd love to see something come out again. The cog, what with Kog'Maw, Kaisa gone, and
No
Jinx.
way.
No, is
Interesting there.
Physiology just gonna just take the Nautilus here? I mean, Physiology is known for as the Nautilus one trick, and it looks like it is gonna be that. But the thing is, they have to pick a ADC here so they don't get banned out because there's not many ADCs within the meta. Yeah, you have the Ezreal, you have the Ashe is still up here, but it's gonna be interesting. What do they want with this Nautilus? Are they gonna pick maybe Lethality Misfortune or Crit Misfortune here?
I mean, it's possible, but I'm really, really surprised they didn't try to go in for something to kind of counter this Lulu, right? I think just giving over Lulu to the side of Anki is absolutely crazy. It's going to be that
Going with
R3
the
here.
Ashe.
I'm almost 100% positive as they go with the Ashe Nautilus to try to shut it down. It's strong, it's got a lot of CC, but Lulu's feeling really good right now. And I don't know. I think it's a little ill to give it over, but actually they're choosing to go with Milio instead here for the side of Nintendo. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, Emilio's just kind of been that champ that exists in the background, has his moments, but it hasn't been that big. But with that Enchanter bot lane, and what's most important, the range boost that Emilio gives is going to do so much for Kog'Maw, right? Having those are just artillery shells, pew pew pew, and just be able to do percent health is just so much damage. The LeBlanc ban comes out, the Kennen ban, just like last game. Is Engi actually going to ban the Syndra, right? Kind of stopping Riven from getting that, or are they going to ban the Silas, just like last game, kind of stopping that engage. There's not many ultimates that are that good. I mean, you have the Lily
Really?
ult is okay, but the Milio, the Kog'Maw isn't that good. But it looks like Silas Spanish is going to come out as well.
Look, if I'm on the side of Angie right now, you drafted a Lilia. You kind of don't really want to pair an AP mid with it. Never mind, they're just going to do it.
They're
I
just
think
gonna
Syndra's
do
still
it.
strong enough to be
Yep,
able to
they're
get
just gonna
away
do it.
with it. But I think it's a pretty good response from Angie. But I'm kind of surprised that Lilia was the pick into Udyr. I know I'm kind of circling back, but Lilia really wants to be able to kind of free move around, but when you have a ton of lockdown, right? You have the Udyr, you have the Nautilus. Those are point and click CC for this Lilia. She needs to be able to dart around, right? Trot around as she pleases, trying to apply a sleep to as many people as possible, but that doesn't matter right now, as we'll see a Malphite hover as they're actually going to lock it in. I think
Having
that's
that
really
lockdown into the
surprising when
Syndra,
I guess
not
they
bad.
see how much. Sorry, I keep cutting you off, but
There you
they
go.
have a lot of AP, so they may be like, hey, we're going to basically call that you're going to go with an AD top laner here, but kind of surprising.
I mean, I assume this is just for trying to stop that Syndra, right? Having the lockdown of the Syndra that's non-cleansable and that can't be Milio ulted as well. I think having that's not bad with the Malphite, but this Yasuo, if this goes through,
Oh
it is
my
going to be
gosh.
Yasuo. That's
So,
ooh.
yeah, I think I've heard a lot of people talk about it, right? My mid laner in my draft league has mentioned this. That is one of the downsides of potentially going with that blind Syndra is Yasuo. If the people can play it, does really, really well into this matchup. And I know Yasuo's getting a buff next patch, but I kind of think he's super, super strong at this point. And especially when you've set yourself up with a comp with the Malphite, with the Nautilus, I think they really need to try to find a good counter into this Malphite shutdown as they go with the R5 Horde. Yeah, right. I mean, fair enough. I think you need some front line on the side of Angie, but I'm kind of liking the way that TD Bless has set themselves up, but Lilia does get some value at the end of the day.
My only big thing is that they have 3 frontline, right, for the side of TD Bless, and that's 2 AD champs. Unless Udyr's going to go more of that AP build, I mean, that's all Ornn has to do is build tank, and they're not going to be able to kind of burn through that. It's going to be interesting to see if that's going to do, of course. But then again, the Lilia, the Kog'Maw is just being able to just tank burst, right? Just going to be able to melt the Nautilus, melt the Udyr, melt the Malphite. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good game. But to be honest, I think in this game, I think Engie took the draft here. Yeah, yeah, TD Bless did well, but I just think that Engie having that Kog'Maw against the tanks, having the Syndra, right, having that Ornn knockup trying to stop any engage, it's just gonna do so much.
We'll have to see how this draft ends up playing out. I think it's a really spicy one from the side of TD Bless, but like we said, the roles have kind of reversed, right? Angie has a pretty good scaling comp, so we'll have to see if they're able to make it to that late game where they're able to pop and go online. As we're going to cut to break, and we'll be right back for game 2 of this series.
Look, there's my home, there's my wall. See, it's the flower, mine is lost. Beyond space, beyond time, give me fire, clear my mind. Tale of love, so divine. You are human, just like now. I can see it in the dark. Take my hand and bring me back. Call me by name, I will wait. Tell me your secrets, be my friend. Beyond me, with the light, I am dreaming every night. You are both fucking mixed. You are human, you and me.
And welcome back, everyone, to Game 2 with TD Blessed and ANGY. And right off the bat, we actually see TD Blessed here going for a 5-man infade top lane. We still going. ANGY went for that 5-point, and I mean, I'm assuming they got seen here.
They did get seen. We
But-
saw that Sadness did back off as the Lilia, kind of known, hey, that's a Nautilus. He's going to cause me a little bit of problems level 1. So we got to be a bit cautious here as we're going to see if anything happens, as it looks like they're just going to be on the retreating side, kind of backing up. But nothing crazy here with this pretty skirmish-heavy comp over to the side of TD.
Of course, it looks like Lilia is just going to go walk back down there. I don't think that Udyr is going to... Is Udyr actually going to contest for it? That's going to be interesting to see if that's going to happen. They do now spot Lilia. They are just, that is just going to be there. And looks like Udyr
Yep, he
is
gets
just going to go for
spotted
the
there.
He's
Yeah, that's
gonna
not
go
what you want to see if you're Udyr, right? You get put a little bit on the back foot here. As you do. Actually, he makes it right in time for his blue to spawn, so nothing ends up going too crazy. As it looks like we're gonna see what's gonna happen, but I kind of want to talk about these lane matchups a little bit, right? I think Riven with the Yasuo has a lot of advantage into the center. It's very hard to kind of lock down him down. Never mind, he's able to land the Q, but especially when you get your E, you get unlocked there. But looks like top lane is kind of gonna be a wet noodle fight, as they're kind of just willing to trade blows with each other and just kind of get those grass procs stacked.
Yeah, as you can see here again, top lane, it's just gonna be, you know, just a fighting. Oh, actually, hook.
Oh, but we see the
lands
hook does
onto
land
Sentinel.
onto Milio here, but it looks like nothing's going to end up going out of it. But Outrage doing a great job of trading back, using the fact that he is Kog'Maw. He has a lot of damage in the tank, so we're not going to see anything else here. But a lot of aggressive trading here from Riven as well, mid. He's able to get that too. He's able to get those dashes unlocked, and I think it's a lot. It's pretty ballsy to go with the Yasuo at this point in the game. I did see he had a lot of mastery points, so he probably knows what he's doing, but it's also, especially in this matchup with this grasp style, I think you get a lot of value here.
Oh, ooh, stun does come in. It's a little poke damage, but I will say top lane though is just not looking fun for this Ornn. Now, I will again already a level up. Now I will say that Udyr is faster on the clear and will get to bot lane faster. But the thing is, the Ashe and Nautilus are pushed up, so it's going to be a little harder to have a gank there for TD Blast. Oop, knock up onto Syndra isn't going to do much, but does kind of do it.
Not enough to get anything going crazy here, as we're seeing kind of waves traded here. I was expecting a little bit of action, honestly, in the bot side. I think we will be seeing Drop Dead pay a visit to bot lane. But with the way that the wave is set up bot lane, I think with the side of TD Bless pushing it in, there isn't really an angle here for Udyr to go for this gank. But there might be an angle up top, as we see Ultimice getting that aggressive trade-off, as both these tanks are pretty low on mana, so I don't think they're going to be able to go for any more of their abilities casts here. But we see it's kind of just this traditional trading here, as Ultimice is just doing a good job of trying to get this wave shoved in. But we see, hey, that wall's not going to be able to block that W coming out, as we'll have to see.
I think that the Yasuo here is not doing too bad, right? Able to kind of keep up with the Syndra early levels. Yeah, it does get a little poked, but it's not going to be too much. And Udyr is in the area, but and Lilia is just going to kind of take that scuttle. Looks exactly like the beginning of game 1 here.
It does, but I honestly think there might be a chance that Drop Dead got spotted there. But actually, with the way they're positioning, I don't think so. They didn't get hit by the W, but Physiology is looking for the angle heal. They're going for the hook, as it does late onto Kog'Maw, right? Udyr is still not able to go for it. They're doing a great job of kind of trying to bait this fight out, trying to make it look juicy for the side of Drop Dead. He reveals himself, though, and Kog'Maw holding his ground. That is not a good trade for the side of TD Blast. His Outrage was just, hey, I'm just going to sit here and wallow away. I have lethal tempo, and I'm applying a lot of damage, and that is a lot of time lost there and a lot of tempo lost for the side of Drop Dead.
I will say though, that was that mid lane, that was a 2v1 mid lane, and yet Riven came out on top there. And this the shield coming out from the Yasuo, the wind wall, is just able to stop so much of Lilia's abilities, that just being able to like hold out and survive. And it looks like Drop Dead will be able to get this rift or the scuttle crab, so it's not going to go too bad. And grub spawn in a minute, so that should be interesting to see.
A lot of action on a lot of parts of the map. As we see, ooh, the ultimate. I didn't actually realize that the grass proc comes out from your Q as well. That's a lot of easy stacks there for the side of Yasuo. So I think he's able to kind of build those up, get a lot of damage out. But I am kind of surprised that we didn't see a little bit more action this point in the game. 5 minutes. We saw these junglers go for these plays, but on the defensive side, good job from both teams here.
Again, CS is pretty even on both sides. Of course, you have the little CS lead on the Udyr, or on the Lilia here against the Udyr, just because again Lilia went for the farm while Udyr kind of sit in the bush bot lane. But of course, mid or top lane is still definitely going to Ornn's favor here. Going to be interesting to see as soon as Ornn gets level 6. Are they going to have like a jump in, or is it just be more of a we're going to sit back a little, wait for Lilia to come up, and then jump in?
As we do see now, it looks like the first initial backs are coming out from all sides, but really there isn't a whole lot of gold lead except for in the top lane, right? We're seeing that Ultimice, he has this wave pushing into Barbaric. I think the farm will even itself out a little bit, but that's kind of what you do with top lane. You kind of bounce waves back at each other, kind of stack them, make sure you don't get punished for for your actions, but we do see Ultimice does have the 6 here.
Level 6
But he's
comes
got to
up
be
though,
careful,
so-
as we see a lot of members are kind of stacked around these grubs here for the side of TD Blessed, right? This blue team really wants it, but they're trying to find an angle onto Jackie.
Ooh,
But we see the flash come out, the hook,
hits.
and go for the ultimate. It is enough. Is it going to be this E? It's blocked by the ultimate. It doesn't think they have enough damage here, but they actually do. Riven with the flash to make sure, and buffer. That is so clean. But we see the swirly seed. It lands onto the side, but I don't think it's enough. You have 3 members there. That is really well played. They know they're champions, and they're able to capitalize and get Yasuo that first blood.
Yeah, now that is flash gone for both the Yasuo and the Nautilus, but that's still first blood here, and there's no ultimate on the Lilia, so it's not going to be able to do much here. And top lane, I'm surprised actually that Nautilus, or sorry, not Nautilus, the Malphite's actually able to have, I guess because of the shield, is taking off way more health. Actually, knock up here by the Ornn isn't going to do much, and it looks like this both of them are just going to kind of beat each other up and walk away.
Let them know who's boss, right? As it ends up just being the tanks are kind of happy to just play this out, right? Kind of get to the point where they're able to support their team, provide a lot of frontline protection for that team. And it's really good, but I do really want to talk about, right? There's a lot of pressure here on this Syndra to make sure she doesn't get punished, get to the point where she's able to get all of those splinters. But when you have so many champions that are designed to put her in the ground, it's going to be tough here.
Knockup does not hit here. Again, both top laners still have ult, but Ornn doesn't have any mana, so probably going to have to back and TP back in. As you see, Malphite does also have TP, and Nautilus is back. Ooh, actually gets a hit between the minions.
Physiology lands it, but I don't think it's going to be enough, as Ashe doesn't do too much damage. She does have that level 6, though. Physiology on those roams did provide a little bit of solo XP to the side of this Ashe here. I think they could go for a cheeky ultimate, but with the fact that Outrage and Nintendo are kind of hanging back, I think it's going to be hard to punish.
Yeah, of course. We now see that Ornn has TP'd back. Malphite is probably going to back here and TP back into this, unless he's going to try to push the wave. Of course, mid lane is pretty even. Of course, you do already have the Vamp Scepter for Yasuo, so he's going to be able to stay in way more in lane here. But the thing is, they don't know where the Lilia is, right? They don't have the wards. That bird actually missed Lilia, doesn't actually get the ping on him. So bot lane can be, should be a little scared here, not knowing where the Lilia is, but looks like, yeah, that's going to actually, looks like Ashe is going to be a little more daring here.
I think there is a lot of pressure. I know we talk about being scared, but I think Sadness is trying to find an angle here. They're going for the swirl seed. Is it going to be able to land? It actually lands on both, and the ultimate. That is nice. That is a good engage, forcing out the flash from Ashe. They go. The Q does actually not land. Outrage is trying to get the damage off. The arrow does go wide, but it looks like Cog might be in a bad spot here. He does have the support from his team. The exhaust lands onto drop dead. Udyr forced to back out. I don't think they have enough damage in the tank, and Kog'Maw with the lethal tempo procced and all of the damage on their side, they're able to pick up that kill. Ooh! They're not able to land that E to make sure that one hand drops, and it ends up being a 1 for 0. But actually, Riven is here. He roamed down. I don't know if it was called, but if he finds the angle here, if he finds that Q knockup, they're going for it. There's a lot of targets. You don't want to get lost in the sauce here. He doesn't land the knockup, but Physiology able to provide it for him. You got to be careful. Riven
is just going to go down.
He's going for stuff, but I don't know, man. And now it looks like the Syndra's going to be able to capitalize on the fact that she gets a free lane at this point.
Yeah, I will say that Milio shield is pretty insane there, being able to get just so much out, saving Outrage multiple times here. Actually, a little top lane skirmish here. Knock up.
As we do see, Ultimice might choose to call in the GOAT himself, but it's going to be enough, as that actually is a lot here, as this Cog already has 2 kills. This is the kills you want it to be on. Physiology going for the hook. I'm kind of happy that Dredge line didn't land, but that might be a 3-man Dredge line. That ultimate lands. It's going to be enough as Kog'Maw is caught out, but the passive, I think it's going to be enough as Drop Dead's going to follow right behind, and that Unleashed Power is going to be enough to get Jackie on the board. Very talented. Is very talented indeed. I keep saying it because it's true.
Yeah, but I will say, though, that's not the worst. Of course, that is jungler for ADC, but that is still a being able to steal the dragon over. So 1 for 1 plus the dragon is not the worst there. So I do think the TD Plus will take that, and we will see. We will see, though. Again, we have Vamp Scepter and the Vamp Scepter and Pickaxe actually ready for the Kog'Maw, so that's gonna be really strong bot lane. Physiology's gonna have to be really careful against that Kog'Maw.
100%. And I mean, you gotta be cautious here. I will say one bright side for the side of ANGY. Actually, there are a lot of bright sides, but this Lilia also has a really sizable gold lead over on her belt, right? She is almost up 20 farm over on the side in the jungle. And it looks like they're both building very similar builds, as she's already up just a straight up Swifty Boots. That is a massive lead. It gives you the opportunity to move to your camps, farm them faster, and I think this gold lead's kind of going to balloon itself a little bit in the jungle.
Actually, we see Physiologist moving mid lane here. It'll be interesting to see. Are they just going to swap lanes, or is Physiologist just going to leave Ash to that 2v1 lane? But it looks like the same thing with Milio. Milio is walking up here, probably trying to go and contest these grubs here. Don't want TD Bless to try to take it again here. Knock up
As
on
we
the
see
picture
the-
isn't going to do much, though.
Yeah, the stun does land, but I don't think it's enough to follow up, right? Milio isn't really known for his follow-up engage. He's kind of there to kind of make sure nobody ends up following. But with this positioning and with the fact that Nintendo was kind of there early, I think that the grubs are going to go over to the side of ANGY, right? I think we might see a little bit of a skirmish as Barbaric is trying to position a little bit aggressively here, but they need to find the angle here. As that is a massive dredge line onto the stage. We see the goat come out. Is it going to be enough to land? It actually hits all four. Is it going to be enough? Barbaric lands the ultimate. Yeah, Riven is able to follow up with that last breath. They're doing so much damage. Riven chasing after Sadness. Is he going to fall? That Q lands and it's going to be enough. We see it's 2 for 1 at this point. Physiology is trying to buy time for space. Riven is back in this area here. He's going to raid. He's attacking. He's katanaing. He's doing it all. Is he going to be able to pick up this kill? Otherwise, the Q goes wide. I think it's still going to be enough, though, at the end of the day. And they're trying to pick up the kill, but no, they greed. They're trying to wait, but Ultimate is able to fall, and Riven picks up the kill. This is not good for the side of ANGY.
Physiology's just going to die to the grubs, though, at this point. Oh, no, looks like we'll survive, though, and it looks like Malphite will be the one to take it, and Riven's going to help as well. So it looks like that is going to be all 3 grubs over. So that's actually all 6 grubs over to the side of TD Blessed here. While, again, bot lane, nothing too special. They're kind of fighting against each other, but because... Oh, actually,
you gotta be careful if you're one hand here. Outrage is kind of happy to keep walking you down, but actually, Outrage... I think is going to be able to get a solo kill here. And One Hand is doing a good job. Actually, they're going to back off here. I think there was an angle if you had the vision to keep going for that extended fight, but they're choosing to back off here, not going for any shenanigans. But I want to circle back to that fight launches. I think the fact that a lot of your kills were on the Kog'Maw, and the fact that he's not able to join for that grub fight kind of made it so it was TD Bless favored, right? The gold was on the Yasuo at the end of the day, and he was the one who was at this fight. He was able to get these grass procs, get the follow-up from that Malphite ult, that unstoppable force, and it ended up going the way of TD Blessed.
I think that shield as well. The shield plus, stun. Is it going to do much damage? Nope. Be able to dodge. Right there. That's especially what the power of the Yasuo into the Syndra is, just because you are able to dodge out on a lot of Syndra's abilities. Actually, looks like Ultimate is just going to back out, sees the Orange there, or sees the Udyr there, says, yeah, I can't fight that, and just walks away.
Drop Dead's kind of just picking up the farm for his Malphite, making sure that that farm isn't wasted at the end of the day. What a good jungler. But we see the hook showing that minion who's boss. I know he meant for the Kog'Maw, but it didn't happen this time. As we see Yasuo able to go in. He's able to land the knockup, but not following up. Ooh, the windmill. Is this a solo kill? It is! That was nasty for the side of Riven there. Doing a good job of holding that win while making sure that Jackie does not have a way out there. And this Yasuo is kind of unleashed, man.
Yeah, actually, Sadness is in the area. Isn't going to hit anything, so can't actually ult the Yasuo. And Udyr is near. Actually, Physiologist is going to walk through. And doesn't look like they're going to get anything out of it, though. And Sadness having to kind of hold this wave, make sure that mid turret doesn't go down. And just because the plates did go down as well. So that's going to be a lot of damage for Riven if they're able to capitalize and hit this turret here while Syndra's just not here.
You know, I didn't talk about it when looking at the draft earlier, but I kind of forgot about the fact that the Ornn was picked R5 with a Yasuo up in the game. Right? That wind wall is going to get so much value. It's just completely shutting down that ultimate at the end of the day. As we see, we're already seeing a lot of action here. But speaking of Ornn, he's trying to get back involved here as we actually might see another solo kill. But with Ultimice in the area, it's not going to be enough. But this is getting really, really detrimental mid lane here. I think Riven kind of has complete control and is able to just shove these waves, get prio, and Very Talented is kind of stuck under tower at this point.
I want to see if the Malphite here is going to try to TP in here. Ooh, one hand might be dead, though. Like
no, the tower's there to save the day. Sadness doesn't choose to go for that leaping lullaby as the end of the day. As
the
it
TP
like
for the Malphite, though, so.
very aggressively here as Malphite is actually TPing in, but Syndra does not have TP. This is a 4v5, and with that hook on Outrage, that might be enough as we see the Dredge line is able to come out. The Ornn Horn is not enough as Drop Dead is trying to fight out. We see Sadness
is low, though.
value here. They might be able. But now cutting down bot side as well. Sadness is popped. Riven is doing so much damage. They're able to pick up Ultimice next. Drop Dead is able to pick it up. Very Talented was not there in time. They should not have gone for that fight, and that is a dragon over to the side of TD Blessed.
That's already 2 dragons over. This Yasuo is just showing them who is boss here. Already 5-1-2 on the champion here. Now, I am actually surprised, I guess just because it's only a 2k gold lead compared to that 4k gold lead last time, but there hasn't been actually any objective bounties that came up. but I guess it's just because top lane is kind of is really going into the favor of the Ornn here, and same with bot lane. But just this mid lane here is just destroying, and that's already first turret over to the man who you needed to be on, Riven.
Like I said, every time I've cast TD Bless, this Riven fella has gotten unleashed, right? I have seen, though, he had a lot of kills on Riven at one point, and he was the only person with gold, and they lost at the end of the day, right? I know we talked about it last game, but there is a lot of pressure still on the side of TD Bless to end this game fast, right? You have so much scaling coming out from the Syndra, coming out from the Kog'Maw, and with the Lilia able to back him up and with an Ornn to be able to buy some space for him, you still are on a timer at the end of the day. But if Riven's able to make these plays going, I think it's still tough.
Yeah, having that knockup from the Nautilus, from the Malphite, that's just a fever fest for the Yasuo, being able to just have that ultimate, hit that 4-man ultimate, hit so much damage right there, hit the Syndra, hit the Kog'Maw, where they're not able to do anything, and well, that's all that ANGY can do, right? Like, as soon as you take out Kog'Maw, as soon as you take out Syndra, what can they do?
I really don't know at this point, but it looks like Riven kind of going for this side lane pressure. I do like the side lane pressure a little more on the Yasuo as opposed to the Syndra, as opposed to game one, but we see that Stride Breaker is coming out. This is a build that has kind of risen in favor for a lot of the Wind Brothers, right? Yone builds it too. Bork into Stride Breaker. You are really deceptively tanky, and when you're building Grasp on top of it as well, I think that very talented on the Syndra, it's a lot of burst, and I think if you have the health to tank it, it doesn't become as threatening at the end of the day.
Now, it looks like, I do assume that ANGY is going to definitely solo out the Yasuo, because, I mean, yes, the Udyr can do damage, yes, the Ashe can do damage, but it's all on Riven here. If you can kill Riven, there's not going to be much that TD Plus can actually do. So you're going to have to be focusing that Kog'Maw, focusing the Syndra, focusing that Ornn and Lilia ults, right? Just onto this Yasuo, just to try to stop him. Just kind of just so this game doesn't get out of hand already. Because, I mean, this is almost a 3K gold lead.
Yeah, and I know we talked about it, right? But Sadness was going for that play, and as fast as he came in, he immediately went out. As we saw, the Nautilus was there to cover it, make sure that this Riven does not fall down, as he already has that Stride Breaker complete. This Yasuo is unleashed, and when you're a Syndra who only has your Ludens and a Tabbies, it's kind of tough to play these side lanes. You kind of need a buddy to hang out with you, because we've already seen Riven go for these solo kills on the side, and it looks like he might be looking for something here, as he's able to not land the Q. It's not enough. Not enough.
But does save turret though, and that is objective bounties again. Like I said before, objective bounties are now actually up for the side of ANGY. So if they can get that bot turret, that's gonna be a good amount of gold going over to actually.
Oh, but we see the last breath lands on a Jackie. I think it's going to be enough, but the flash in return, it's not going to be enough. Riven is tanky enough to live. Does the tower get him? No, it does not. This is not what you want to see. Is the TP in return? I'm so Ultimize. You try to go for that TP, but Barbaric is just going to immediately unstoppable force there. And the emo, a little BM, but we see Sadness actually trying to punish Sadness here. Riven dashing in there to make sure he doesn't get hit by the Q, but we see Riven actually getting the soul. It doesn't go off. I think
but drop dead in the area though.
Doesn't know, but drop dead is going to make sure that deer falls, and it's looking just like Bambi as it's in the jungle. There's going to be no escape for the Lily there.
Oh, flash in from it. But that is, you still have Millia ultimate to do stuff, but it looks like, no, it's just going to be the healing actually from the Millia. The shielding is just too much for TD Bless bot lane to kind of deal with, because I mean, yeah, your Yasuo's fed, but to be honest, the Ashe isn't as much, right? And you have Bork on Kog'Maw being able to heal up, having the Millia on as well with Ardent Sensor. It's just not much you can really do.
I really am surprised about where and what Ultimize was doing with that TP. I think in the heat of the moment, you're getting called, hey, maybe TP, we need you here. But you got to be cautious here. You got to be in a good spot, especially when your lane opponent has something that can stop that TP from coming out. It is a bit of a blunder there from Ultimize, and it's not what we need to see, especially when you're looking for these angles back into this game. I do still say, though, this Cog does have a lot of gold lead over this Ashe. If they're able to play these fights front to back, it's going to be good, but really, Outrage has to kind of play out of his mind, maybe outrageously, if you will, because you got to be cautious of the Yasuo Q. You got to be cautious of the unstoppable force from the Malphite. There is a lot of threat onto you, but if you're able to get out of it, if you're able to maybe get that supportive nature from Nintendo on that Milio, there is still the opportunity here.
Yeah, so Drag is actually up in 15 seconds. It'll be interesting to see, are they just going to, because Malphite has that TP advantage over the Ornn, Ornn's just going to run top lane, so are they just going to try to 4v5 this dragon here, go for the soul point already, right? That's Cloud Soul. That's going to be really beneficial. And stopping Cloud Soul on the Lilia, on the Syndra, on the Kog'Maw can just kind of run you down. It's going to be really beneficial. So
yeah,
looks like they are just gonna go for this dragon here and putting the Rift Tail in mid lane, focus them there. But also you can see Lilia's actually behind, most likely gonna try to get this top wave here as soon as Ornn pushes in. But I mean, with the TP that Malphite can have, that top lane turret is pretty secure.
And I mean, we talked about it as well, right? I know you talked about the Rift Herald, but that is kind of the traditional play a lot of the time that you're used, right? You don't really use it to buy a tower, but you kind of make it just so the team has something they have to worry about. And it's just a free dragon on the other side. But Riven trying to find the angle on Ultimize. You got to be careful here. The Q doesn't man, but that is so much damage. Bork is absolutely slicing through this Ornn, forcing out the flash. But with Riven still on the chase, he's got to be careful as that deer is hanging out, making sure nothing happens. But with that hawk shot, he knows that, hey, I'm going to just call it there. I'm going to take that trade. I'm going to take that flash.
Yeah, I think that was definitely good for the side of him. Actually,
oh, they're going for the tower dive here, but Ultimize
though.
is doing a great job of trying to buy time. But we see it's not going to be enough. The ultimate doesn't.
Enough.
Oh my gosh, that slow makes it so that shutdown comes out. Great response there from Ultimize. But I'm really surprised that that was actually able to slow him down. That is crazy to see. And actually, that is a really big blunder from Riven there.
Yeah, again, that is, again, without the flash, there wasn't much you can do. And there wasn't any minions to be able to dash to, so just had to take the tower shot and hope for the best, and it just doesn't turn out for the best. Actually, the amount of damage Outrage is outputting already.
Right now. Yeah, Outrage was able to find the kill, but actually, Barbaric is in the area. He's going to try to find this Kog'Maw. This Kog'Maw is low. I think an unstoppable force is going to make it hard. Oh, a good flash predict there from Outrage, making sure he doesn't fall there, and it looks like it's going to be the end of the play. They're going for the stun. Outrage is unleashed. He's going. He's munching. He's going. He's absolutely firing these shots, but it's not enough, and it looks like it's going to be nothing at the end of the day.
I mean, that's actually still really good for the side of Blast, meaning now Kog'Maw can't get out of the next ultimate, right? Well, Malphite's ultimate is not going to take too long to get back up here, and that's still going to be really beneficial. Again, we have only, 1 minute on the for the ultimate for Barbaric, but yet we still have a full 4 minutes until the flash comes up for the Kog'Maw, so I think that's definitely going to be really beneficial for Blast here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, at this point in the game, if you are Angy, you're kind of happy to kind of just be catching these sideways at this point, right? You scale, you have the stacks, right? I believe Jackie, or Very Talented, is already at 90 stacks, which is good. You only need 30 until you're completely unleashed. You get that Rabadons on top of the Rabadons. It's pretty awesome. But you get a lot of ability power, but there's just a lot of pressure here from the side of TD Bless. They're doing a good job. Yasuo is applying a lot of pressure, but it might be a little overzealous here as he lands the Q with that last breath. It might be a little bit too early as he's trying to buy time, but that ultimate, it's going to be enough to go land. Riven, you got to be cautious, man. I think you're getting a little too hectic here, and Sadness is able to pick up that kill.
Yeah, of course. And the biggest thing is they still have so much standing gold. Look at that. All 3 first-tier turrets are up for the side of Blast, which means that Angy can just get those bounties, get those standing gold right there, and just kind of scale. Now that Yasuo isn't in the picture, just push mid lane or push bot lane in and get that turret. But looks like they just really can't do any much. Physiology is kind of outside
as it looks like the dredge line is going to be tried to use to get out of here, but I think with that tower, it looks like nothing's going to end up happening. But we're actually seeing a TP come out from Very Talented here. I don't think they go for the follow-up play. I think it might be for not. Maybe they try to go for this Baron off of it, but it ends up just being a TP to make sure that her teammates are okay.
Yeah, well, that's still going to be, and of course, Syndra already backing as well. I think that's going to be really beneficial actually for the side of Blast, but it looks like top lane turret should go here. Yep, so that is going to be a good amount of gold going over to the side of Angy, right? Being able to kind of catch up any way they can, being that now it's only, before it was almost a 5k gold lead, now it's back down to 3. So, I mean, Angy definitely is catching up here. So we're going to see if that's going to be actually,
Ultimize might be in a bit of trouble here as the dredge line does land, followed by the last breath from Riven. I think that Ultimize might be in a bit of trouble here. He's trying to buy time with the breath, but I think it's not going to be enough. And it looks like, are they going to get the kill over to Riven? They are. And Ash is able to pick up a kill at the end of the day, too. I think this is going to be a Baron start from the side of TD Bless. It looks like they're firing here.
Syndra does not have TP, right? They do lose top wave. They do lose top turret. They do lose mid turret here, right? And they could even list bot turret, but having the dragon here is going to be beneficial. But I think that, with all 3 turrets going down and all 3
Sadness go for the hero play. I think there is the opportunity for a steal here if I am Sadness, but no, with the fact that Syndra used that TP kind of for naught, right? Just using it to buy space for her team. The fact that they got that pick means it's a free Baron, and that's just punishing the macro mistakes here from the side of Angy, and that is a really good turnaround from TD Blessed.
if TD Bless can actually utilize this Baron really well, then I do think that's going to be beneficial. But I think if they are not able to, I think that was just a really good play for ANGY. It's just saying, hey, we know they're going to get Baron, then just go for the tier 1 turrets, right? Get the 3 bounties that you can get right here, right? Of course, Yasuo doesn't have a bounty on his head anymore, but you were able to get that previously. And of course, this is going to be a fight around this drag here. This is Soul
As
Point,
the
actually.
supports seem to find each other here as we see the dredge line lands, but the Q, follow it up to make sure, but that ultimate unstoppable force, it lands onto Very Talented. Very Talented is
Could
going to
go down. Doesn't look like anything though.
Buying enough space, but one hand is doing enough damage, able to pick up the Milio here. She's next onto the Ultimize, and I think with the rest of your team following back, Kog'Maw trying to buy space, but that is a good stun there from the side of Very Talented.
Ooh, stop Lilia from going over the wall, though.
Flash Q, is it going to be enough? Riven pops! This might actually be turnaroundable, as we see Sadness is trying to buy space on the other side of the fight, but over on the back
will go down here from this passive.
As it looks like it's going to be a pretty good play, as actually the carries, it's just Very Talented left, as the tanks, the damage dealers, are not where in sight, but it looks like that Dragon and Soul Point is going to go over to TD.
Yeah, I think that was really close there. I will say though, I really love that Dredge line actually for Physiology, because the Lilia tried to get over the wall, but with the Dredge line hitting onto Lilia, wasn't able to do much, wasn't able to hit more than just one hand, right? And I think if you were able to hit more, that could have been a full turnaround, but being only able to hit one hand is not going to be as beneficial, isn't going to let the Syndra really do much damage, isn't going to really let the Ornn do much, and it's a 3 for 2, but that is still Soul going over to Blessed.
And I will say that fight I honestly thought was going to be a lot worse for ANGY, right? I do kind of like the kiting out from the side of ANGY. I know I keep saying it, but Kog'Maw doing a good job of just trying to play. I'm going to play front to back. I'm going to just apply as much damage as I can to this team, just trying to buy value, right? I have this Milio who's going to be buffing me up. Syndra, both of these champs just enjoy getting played into, right? If you're able to kite it out, if you're able to keep these fights going long, it continues to favor ANGY more and more. But with a lot of the sums used on the side of TD Blessed, I think it's going to be tough, and especially with Cloud Soul at the end of the day, it's going to be really hard to especially apply pressure on these sideways. But we see it lands on 2, as we find Nintendo is going to immediately pop. Barbaric's able to pick up that kill. That is a really good sign, especially with Baron still not on the table, but I think this could potentially be a tower over to the side of TD. Actually, there is Baron still up. Barbaric had it. But we're going to see now, as they're trying to go for a continued play, as the wind wall is trying to buy space here. They're trying to pop this mid tower. Riven finds the angle on Sadness. Sadness is going to fall here. We're going to see. Does the Q land? It does. And now it's just ultimate. But actually, the hook, it lands. The last breath comes out. Very Talented is able to find it. But actually, the pop
on Riven, though.
Power's going to make it, but one hand able to land that W. We're seeing a return fight here. Both the AD carries are still up. This fight could still go either way, but one hand has the range. And we're going to see if it's enough. Kog'Maw gets hooked by the dredge line. That is a position there. One hand is doing a great job.
Still isn't down though. Double actually.
On the passive, you never see that. I think they were just caught up in the moment. They didn't think about the fact that that Kog'Maw is going to explode. Actually, a great saving play there from Outrage. And actually, I thought that was going to be game, but it looks like it's going to be just a neutral state. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think Physiology and One Hand really greeted for that Ornn, but Ornn's just so tanky, has the Thorn Meal as well. There's just not much that One Hand can really do. There's no damage that actually comes out from that Ashe, only having those 2 items, right, against the 3-item Ornn. And that just kind of stopped them with, yeah, they got Outrage, but that passive and that true damage, yeah, it doesn't do much, but is just able to do enough because they just sat under that turret, taking so much turret aggro right there. That was just enough for that double kill off for Outrage. And I mean, that's already 3 items. That's a 3-item Kog'Maw versus this kind of 2.5-item Ashe. I think that's almost 40 or 50 CS right there as well.
You know, I kind of think one of the issues I had with TD Blessed draft going into it is I thought they were going to lack a little bit of AP on their side. But with that 3rd item Malignance coming out from Barbaric, right? He has a shutdown. He's 307. He's been getting a lot of value out of these unstoppable forces. He finds the target, he goes, me rock, and he's going to immediately try to find you. He's going to kill you. And when you have a Yasuo who's going to follow up with his last breath, it's a lot of value here. And they're able to play these initial fights well. If they get these picks, it's really hard. And I also want to shout out just both AD carries. They're both playing well. They're kind of still playing passive. As One Hand, he's kind of playing with a lot of his teams going, hey, you're going to go in. I'm kind of just going to provide that artillery fire. But Outrage, he is trying to make up for the fact that he is having an ultimate. He's trying burr. I keep saying it, but like he's trying to fire. He's beating the
there's one
artillery.
right
But
there.
now see it, the combo, it's not enough. And Outrage immediately falls. I was talking good about him, but it's not going to be enough. As we see,
Sadness,
ANGY is
though.
trying to buy space. Sadness actually gets a good ultimate here. Lands onto three, but I think when you have drop dead, making sure you're not going to be able to follow up, it's just very out. But actually, we see the dredge line come up, but with the rest of your team, Ultimise is trying to buy time, but with 4 members on you, I
Look
think it's going to
at
be really
that.
hard. Riven actually falls. That is a pop. Goes the Weasel. As we see, Ultimise is actually taking so much. I think this could be the angle, but the dredge line does land. Lorne is going to fall here. He's trying to E out, but it's going to be enough.
no
He's one hand
damage,
able to pick
though.
up
Look
that
at that. He's still
kill. He's not.
alive.
But actually, we see a 3-man stun trying to do their best to defend this base. I think they need to
One
look
hand,
for a
though,
kill on
is
Syndra if they
really
want to end
close,
this game. Nautilus needs to land this dredge line here. As it looks like they're okay to just back off, maybe go for this this bot side tower.
They
Actually,
flashed
a
in
very
from-
aggressive play here, using the fact that he's under the tower. Actually, a great turnaround there for Very Talented. That was absolutely what you need to do, punishing the fact that he was taking that tower aggro and is able to pick up that kill, and I believe that was a shutdown as well.
I mean, this game is really getting close here. I think that TD Blush is just kind of throwing slowly but surely. Yeah, you're trying to go for the kill, but I mean, look at this. Now there's 5 members up. Physiology still has 25 seconds, still has 6 seconds on the Riven, and I mean, that might just be Baron going over to ANGY here. That's not going to be good.
Absolutely. I think there is the good response here. You got to look at it. Physiology is up in 12. I think your strong members are still up, and the fact that Malphite with this Malignancy stood, she'll have unstoppable force. They know that it's going to happen. I think we might be seeing a bit of a Baron flip here launches. It's going to be close.
I mean, it's going to be close, but I still think this is a 4v5, right? We don't have... Ooh, a lot of damage on the dead drop already just from the Syndra, right? Just from the stun there. Ooh, they do stop the Baron, though. They do stop
the Baron
it.
call
Well,
is a little crazy here. And actually, we see the ultimate come out from both sides. The unstoppable force followed by the last breath. Nintendo Forever is down. Status is in the backline. I think he's in a really bad spot. Drop Dead is trying to make some space happen on the other side. The carries are over atop. These fights are split.
Outrage is still
but it
alive,
actually
though.
looks like
Outrage is
Outrage is
still alive.
untouched with the dredge line. They find the angle, but the Q actually does not land. Is it going to be enough? He does. He falls. Riven's next. It's one hand versus
passive,
Very
though.
Talented, but Very Talented is able to get the kill. This is the turnaround you need for this ANGY. It's a 3-for-4, and it's a great play as the Elder is spawning in 30 seconds. We might have seen the turnaround that we need here, but actually Physiology is just trying to buy spaces. The minions, are we seeing LCS finals again? But Jackie's able to back, so nothing too crazy there.
No, I think that this is gonna be a turnaround right into another fight, right? Just for this Elder Dragon. I think Physiology is just here trying to stop Ornn as much as he can, right? Ornn has TP, so that's gonna be able to jump into the fight. They know that Physiology for Ornn is just a great trade, right? As long as Physiology doesn't die for this Elder fight, right? It's gonna be really beneficial. But now Physiology is gonna be late for this Elder Dragon, right? As you can see, all 3 members already that are alive for the side of ANGY are just running down to the Baron, right? There's the objective bunny, and Elder is going to be so beneficial for any team that takes it. I think there's going to be an Elder flip as well.
Oh my goodness, we have been in for a treat today, launches, as we see all the teams are positioning, trying to go for this really, really crucial objective here. The team that takes this Elder Drake gets the advantage. They're going to be able to apply so much more damage. This is make or break for both teams. Both teams are looking for this angle. I need to see an unstoppable force land on either this Kog'Maw or this Syndra. You do not get value out of any of these other targets. They are the damage dealers here. But with that Banshees, it's going to be tough. They need to find this angle here. It's going to be tough, man. I keep saying it, but like Ultimise is trying to buy space for his team. He has 5 here. I think you just play front to back if you are both team. Kog'Maw needs to just play. He needs to just fire his bullets. But Yasuo,
you're a little out of place here. I mean, yeah, you can do stuff, but it's like don't want to be too out of place, and it's just the poke does come out, right? But it's just not enough. The shielding from the Milio, she's able to tank up everything. Ornn is just so tanky right now. There's not much you can really do.
look, he has 8k HP at this point, right? It's going to be hard to break this guy down. He's kind of happy to just hang out, make sure something happens, but both teams are kind of playing knife's edge here, as I don't think there's a lot of magic pin or LDR, but we're seeing the GOAT come out.
This is it.
Actually, the ultimate whiff! I don't think that's going to be enough to punish here, as Ultimise is so tanky, but he's getting burned down by the Leandries. Physiology is getting chunked here. They're finding the angle. Ultimise is trying to buy space for his team, but Barbaric actually getting chunked really, really low here. Kog'Maw is uncontested. The ultimate doesn't actually land. This is actually the turnaround that we need from the side of ANGY. Riven gets popped. This is actually a one fight for the side of ANGY. Drop Dead's trying to make space, but with one hand only up. That's actually not what you want to see. They're trying to go in. They're using the fact Sadness is fast. He's speedy. The dredge line's not going to be enough as he's choosing to sacrifice himself. This team has scaled. They had their opportunity, TD Bless. They had the lead early. But when you have a Kog'Maw and a Syndra at the end of the day, it's going to be so hard to break through this.
I think that's game. As soon as they have Elder, I don't think that TD Bless can actually win against that. Again, they have the Syndra, they have the Kog'Maw, who's just able to melt every single one of the on the enemy or on TD Bless. So that's Elder. I think this is game. That's already went from a 6K gold lead down to a -2 for TD Bless. There's a pause though, so we'll have to see what happens.
As it looks like there is a bit of an issue here for the side of the 80 carry over on ANGY. Looks like they're trying to get some PC issues fixed up. So it looks like we're going to be going on pause as we might be seeing the last dance here for the side of TD Blesses. They're going to try to look for angles here, but I need to talk about it, right? There isn't a lot of armor shred over on the side of TD Bless, right? That Ornn was tanking so much damage, right? I just felt like he was just happy to just be there a lot of the time, right? You have the healing coming out from Milio. You have so much support from the rest of your team. I need a bit of armor pin. If I'm literally any member, the Yasuo needs it for sure, but Ashe, right? They have the BT, they have the Kraken, they have the PD. That's not going to be enough to break through an Ornn at the end of the day. I need an LDR.
And also, if you look at it, Ashe is actually just trying to go for that IE, right? IE, yeah, it can do a lot of damage, but it's not going to be able to get through this Ornn, who just has way too much damage, or way too much health here. I mean, Ornn has 256 armor, but has almost 8k health. There's just no way that Ashe can get through that unless she has that LDR, right? And it's going to be interesting to see, are they even going to get far enough into the game to where Ashe can build the LDR? Because again, Ashe is going for the IE right now, right? And that's going to still take a while before she can get that. And I think this game is going to end before then.
I kind of do too as well. I think TD Bless kind of missed their opportunity to finish off this game, right? I think Riven had a massive, massive lead. And I think he got, I keep saying it, a little overzealous on these plays, right? He was going for these 1v2, he was going for these highlights. He wanted to be seen in the LXC intro video, but he got caught out of position, right? He wasn't aware of where Sadness was on the map. He got punished. He gave over these shutdowns to Ornn. And I was originally going to be like, oh, Ornn can't use a shutdown. Look how tanky he is. He almost has 1k stacks on his Heartsteel there, sitting at 833. He is a problem right now.
Mm-hmm. And of course, yeah, Ornn is a tank, but that lifesteal damage that the Heartsteel damage he's able to put out is just so much. Again, he does literally 453 bonus AD every time he gets a little auto attack. Boom, and this Ashe only has that's literally 20% of Ashe's health bar just from one auto from a tank, right? It's not looking pretty for TD Blessed here.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. I mean, I think it's tough. Like, I think the only real angle you have is I realistically don't know. I think it's like you don't have as much damage as you want on the Yasuo anymore. You do decent damage, but you're kind of there to kind of like survive. But with this, just like these carries over on the side of ANGY, they have scaled up so well, right? Syndra has both the defensive items. She has the Banshees and the Zhonya's. It's gonna be tough when they're trying to all in someone when you're buying space for your team. As it looks like we're back, we made it back, we're back in game. As we're gonna see if what we were talking about is true. As we didn't even mention it, but one hand he's trying to buy space on this Baron, but Sadness finds him too. If he lands the swirling seed, we're gonna see if he falls, but that's probably gonna be Baron over to the side of ANGY.
Yep, and then the other thing is that's Baron, that's Elder, and that's an Outrage who, when backing, is probably going to get Jack shows. So that's not going to be pretty. Of course, there is always this little pause every time a game does get paused as well. So we have this double pause. Got to wait for it to kind of come out, and there it's back now. So
Riot Games, you silly goose, but it doesn't matter as it looks like that Baron is going to be uncontested. But the Legends Never Die arrow doesn't do anything. His ultimate just tanks it, and I think he actually gained health when that hit him.
Yeah, I mean, Ashe is literally doing negative damage to this Ornn. It's not looking good for the side of TD Blessed. And, I mean, that is such a tanky Ornn. Ornn now has 8.5k health. I mean, what is TD Blessed going to do just to get through that Ornn? And, of course, that is Jack shows as well coming out for this Kog'Maw. He's tanky now. That's tanky Kog'Maw. There's not much you can really do against that, so...
Hey, I mean, like, I keep saying it, but that guy is gonna, like, his dance, he is gonna be absolutely spitting at this point, right? He is going to be applying so much deeps to the side, right? And I think there is some tankiness, but I don't think you have enough tankiness to break through the front line of ANGY, as this might be that last dance, that last hurrah. As Ultimate says, he at 10k HP at this point? It looks like it. No, he's sitting at about 9k. That's still impressive. But still, look at that guy. He is a monster. He's actually taking some damage from Leandri's, but you got to be really cautious here. That scatter from Very Talented, it's able to land, and actually, with this Elder
one
proc,
hand though,
they're
one hand
close
just
to
might
the
die here just from
execute.
Lily's passive.
Yeah, they're got to be so cautious here. That swirl seed is going to be enough. They're just going in. They're just willing, hey, we're just going to 5v5 brute force this end. And I think all the sides got to be cautious here. You got to look for an angle, but it's looking so tough, as I think this is going to be the end game here. That Elder is still up. The Baron is up. Ultimice is on the tower, but they find the dredge line. They find the carry. They go in Very Talented. Actually forced to flash out. That's not what you want to see if I'm in Malphite. I want to be going in. But we see the goat arrow comes in. Sadness trying to buy space with that Zhonya's. The ultimate, the scatter of the meek lands. Barbaric is going to pop. That is the Elder that they need. One hand is low. If anything lands, it's enough. The Elder pops there. That's going to be game, as the carries are still up. They land the knock up on a Riven, trying to buy space. He was early. He was ahead early, but it's not enough as the last breath comes out. I don't think it's enough, man. Actually, they get the kill on Sadness, but the exhaust is going to make it tough, and they see a great response there, not falling down, and is a tied series here, going 1-1.
Yeah, I think in that fight there, it was close, but to be honest, could have taken that, but just that beginning, that double base, right, where they just sat in base, took too much damage, and they were just able to ANGY was able to just claw back right at the end and just takes the win there to go 1-for-1.
I've seen it before. I'll keep saying it, right? I've seen Riven get these leads before, and it just looks like a lot of the time he gets a little overconfident. He's kind of going for these plays when realistically he doesn't have to. He has the gold lead. Just let it passively go up, right? Let it continue to build on its own. He still did the most damage in that game, doing 51k, but when you got a Kog'Maw who's going to be doing a good amount as well, you're on a timer, and that timer ended up expiring, and he wasn't able to finish it off.
I do want to say though, that Ornn, if you see the damage, that Ornn did the most damage on his team. That is insane. I mean, just that just tells you how much of the how much Heartsteel stacks he was able to get, how much little bonking with his hammer that he was able to hit every single member. That there was just not much that that TD Bless was able to do. And I mean, again, that's 1-for-1. And it looks like TD Bless will choose blue side, so we will have the same sides as before. To be honest, I don't think the drafts, or I don't think the bans will change. To be honest,
I don't either. I also honestly think there is the chance that they could keep a very similar draft. I do not think at the end of the day the draft was the issue, right? It did get to late game where that hyperscaling comp was going to be the key, but we saw how ahead the side of TD Bless was. If they play cleaner, if they play a little bit more controlled, they can easily clean that game. They can easily just take their lead. They had Cloud Drake. They had the opportunity to go for these Elders, go for these Barons. They got to play controlled. They got to play cautious here. But honestly, I think another response could be they want to first pick the Syndra, right? I think it's won both games. Has it not, Launches?
Yes, it has.
It's such a strong champ. I know in a lot of leagues, people are B1ing it, prioing it. And I think if you are the side of TD Bless, right? I don't think that Jackie has the pocket pick Yasuo. It got a lot of value, but I think there's a lot of ease in picking Syndra B1 here.
Yeah, I think just because Udyr was open. They said, "Hey, we're just gonna first pick that." They banned it just because we're good at it, and we're just gonna do it just so that we can kind of carry. But it just Udyr just was not able to bring that much to the table here. Wasn't to bring enough, right? So I do think that Syndra pick is going to be a high priority. I don't think it's slipping down all the way to the 4th pick, 5th pick, just like in the last couple games, right? It looks like they are trying to pick the ADC, just because of course the ADC pool is very pinched right now, having only again Jinx, Kai'Sa, Kog'Maw, right, for the hyperscaling. Yes, you can bring out the Jhin, right? Jin's actually pretty strong right now, but it's definitely a different type of game than what these teams want to play right now.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the name of the game, right? We've seen it both times. The hyperscaling comp has won, right? At the end of the day, it might be like we're not seeing as much action as we want, but when you get to late game, they're going to be able to apply so much DPS. They play these 5v5s, and I think you've got to really, really be skilled here if you're wanting to go for these angles, right? I think there's opportunities. Like I keep saying, that Yasuo had the chance to win that game. He had the chance to take it home. He got overconfident. And when you're playing specifically for a Yasuo comp, a Malphite basically means you're playing Yasuo comp. You have to be playing perfect. And just the one mistake is going to make it so that the hyperscaling comp is obviously going to be able to win at the end of the day.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see if this is gonna be again is this going to game five? We might have a game five here. We gonna have to go play Silver Scrapes, right? Of course, but again, this is very interesting just because then we came to this thinking that Engie was the favorites, right? But here we are. They were kind of put on the back foot, right? They won because of TD Bless's mistakes here, right? So this is going to be a situation of if TD Bless can play like they did the first two games, I think that they have a chance of taking this finals. But if they make the mistakes like they did this last game, then this could just be a 3-1 for Engie.
I mean, hey, last series, I think that Angie played against BLM, right? Brown Lives Matter. Um, it ended up happening. They lost that first game, but then they clean sweeped after. There is a chance, right? I think this team is pretty momentum heavy. And I think the momentum in this game is very underrated. The mental aspect of just playing
Mm-hmm.
strong, playing off of a win is really, really good. But right now, I'm still trying to log in, I believe, to the spec link as we're having some issues on our end here. As if they are on, launches is going to spec. Perfect, perfect, perfect. As it looks like I'm just doing some funny business on my side, but we'll see.
Gibbs again. We're just currently waiting for the teams to get into. Looks like we are changing from draft lull to pro draft, right? So it's gonna take us a little bit to fix everything up here. So sorry for the delay again, everyone. Again, everyone, thank you for kind of coming in for the Sentinels Grand Finals tonight. Gonna be a great game, hopefully, and hopefully we'll bring all the way to Game 5, right?
I mean, I think with the way these teams are playing, I think that is a very likely possibility, right? I think both teams are playing strong. Both teams are willing to get down and dirty, right? They're trying to make something happen here, which I respect. I think there is a lot of, as this series has gone on, there's been a lot of priority on this Syndra, though. I keep saying it. If it's not B1, I'm gonna be surprised. And I think if that is the case, I think that Angie needs to immediately take it.
Mm-hmm. And TD Blessed has first pick, right? They can first pick the Cinder, but I don't think that they like that. I think they like the Jin or the Jinx. They like the Udyr, right? They'd rather first pick kind of that or I guess they'd rather first pick a hyper scaling bot lane here. But I just think that again, like you said, Syndra is just so strong within this patch. If you're not B1ing it, you're giving the win to the enemy here.
I mean, like at the end of the day, what they chose to be one last time, that first pick for them ended up being that Udyr in the jungle. And I think he got some value, but it wasn't enough. And I think just there's so much free scaling with Syndra. It's really hard to shut her down with the scatter, with the fact she's able to push people back. So it just becomes I'm expecting and I'm hoping that is the first pick here for TD Blessed. I think that is the key to winning these games. But maybe they want to go back to comfort. Maybe they're like, hey, we want to make sure Drop Dead gets his Udyr because I'm pretty sure Sadness was playing the Bear Man himself. So
Well, we will see. Of course, we are of course expecting the Amumu ban will always be banned. Kai'Sa's gonna be always be banned. See, I would have loved to see if they don't ban Kai'Sa, maybe ban. What if TD Bless did ban the Syndra instead of the Kai'Sa and actually first pick draft? First pick Kai'Sa here, right? Because Kai'Sa, of course, is very strong in the meta. Could see a Kai'Sa Jinx fight, but it looks like just looks like Kai'Sa ban gonna come out, Poppy ban gonna come out just the same. And this is just a redo of the last two games. Again, there's the Garen, there's the Jarvan, right? Will this be a Jinx ban or an Udyr ban? And it looks like Jinx will come out.
it's the exact same bans from game two. Like I said, I do think draft was not the issue here, but actually they're locking an Udyr. They're doing the salty run back at least at this point in the game. I think if I'm Anki, I immediately lock Syndra at this point, right? They are going for comfort. They're making sure that Sadness doesn't get one of his favorable champions, but Syndra gets a lot of value. Maybe they're just like, hey, we're just going to run back that Yasuo Malphite comp immediately, but they're
There's the
just doing
Lily again.
it's a repeat, right? Am I seeing double? Like it's another Lilia again. I still think it's not the strongest. I think it honestly ended up being that the team comp that was built after the Lily was picked ended up being good for the deer. But I think in a vacuum, I don't really like this matchup that much.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Is this going to just be a Kog'Maw pick as well, right? Just like last game. I do think that that's not a bad pick, but I would say, oh, actually,
Jhin?
here is the Jhin, right? I talked about it. And again, I think that TDLS should just pick up the Cinder. It is so
Yep.
powerful right now. One shot's to Lilia, one shot's the Jhin. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be really beneficial. But we again, we haven't seen it locked in yet. It looks like they're just debating on if they what their third pick is going to be because I think that ADC is going to be really powerful. Do they want to pick that Ashe or do they want to pick the Kog'Maw, right? That
I'm
was how it was
choosing to go
picked
with
before.
Syndra here. I actually think there is the chance they just lock in Cog, right? We have seen that one hand he's able to play the Jinx, and Cog plays a little bit different. And with the fact that the Jinx is banned, I think it could be the pickup. It usually does need to be paired with an Enchanter, either that Lulu or that Milio that we saw in game 2 there. But they're actually choosing to go with Nautilus. I think they're choosing not to go for the Cog. Maybe this is a weakness on the TD Bless side, and maybe one hand doesn't want to play that Cogmaw.
Yeah, I think having or banning the or sorry, picking the cog or if one hand wanted to play that wouldn't have been actually that bad. Being that you would have had again more bans on the supports, right? But then you'd have your top lane open. Again, top lane's been pretty heavily banned recently. But again, same with the mid lane. Mid lane was like the two bans. So it's gonna be interesting to see what Angy is gonna ban here, right? We do see the LeBlanc locked in for the side of Angy for really talented, right? And which just means that these bot ban or these mid ban, sorry, from Angy that they've had those last two games will be different. So of course we still see the Kennen bans, but the new Malphite ban actually will come out from Angy, not liking it from game 2 here. So
hmm I think The Rock was really, really strong for the side of TD Blessed. I do think it is a little surprising. It's not going to be paired with the Yasuo. That Syndra was already locked in for Riven there. But we skipped over it a little bit. But the LeBlanc is actually the response there from Very Talented into Riven, right? It is a very strong matchup. But you kind of want to play with an 80 jungler usually. That's why I'm kind of surprised it's being paired with the Lilia. I think they're kind of just going into that champ pool here as we're going to see what the response is as we see two tanks are banned out from the side of Engi. They're saying, you're not getting Mr. Ornn. We saw how broken it was because we played it last game. You're not having it this time.
I can see Ornn was played twice by Angy, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see. The Camille band still top lane, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see what Ultimice actually wants to pick, right? We've seen Ultimice on that Ornn pick twice now, right? So it's gonna be interesting. Are they gonna first pick support here? I would assume that a support pick would come out, right? So they would be able to counter pick top lane, but who do you pair with this Jin here? Do you bring back the Milio? Do you have that Lulu come out, right? Or do you have an engage support, right? Are we gonna have Nintendo on like a Thresh or something like that, or Sona, something that would have it? But looks like it's just gonna be a Leona here,
Yep.
lock
I
in.
was gonna say I think the Leona is the real answer there. It does pair well with the Jin. It buys him enough space to open up that curtain call and fire down those bullets, right? He is trying to absolutely one-shot this Syndra. Make sure she's not able to play from literally a million screens away. This is what you want to see, and Leona buys enough space. It's kind of a 50-50 handshake between the Nautilus Leona, but we're actually seeing a Gragas come
Okay.
out. It's a very strong weak side top laner, provides a little bit more AP than I would personally be comfortable for. We really need a strong AD dealer here. Someone who could solo AD as this last pick. I'm kind of surprised they're saving it for
There's
one
an
hand on this.
Ashe, right? There's not much they can do. You're not gonna pick the Kog'Maw. That's just too much AP damage as well, right? So it's gonna be really heavy AP. I think that's just gonna be the Ashe. I don't know if another ADC that can really slot into this, right? The Jinx is gone. The Sivir, okay, Sivir really isn't in the meta right now. She will be buffed next patch, right? She's just not able to produce as much damage as what you'd want an ADC to do. But I guess they do lock in the Sivir, hoping for the wave clear, hoping for the gold to kind of funnel into TD Blast, which just means what's Angie gonna pick against this Gragas here? What does Ultimice feel confident in picking up here?
I mean, Gragas is a very, very strong neutralizer, right? I think there is a lot of issues with kind of punishing a Gragas, as we actually see the Kasante. They just want that front line from him. We saw how good he was on that Ornn in game 1. And we're seeing it's kind of just a 50-50 trade. They're kind of willing to just handshake the lane just to get to that team fight stage and just be able to play from there. But I do think both comps are interesting. I think you kind of mentioned it. I think the Sivir struggles a little bit to kind of deal a lot of damage, right? I think she kind of enjoys playing into less mobile champs, right? She has that spell shield and she has that ultimate to kind of make sure that she has that speed. But when you have a lot of backline threat with that LeBlanc, especially, you got to be really cautious because I think it's tough. But I mean, you do have a pretty solid support squad there. The Grag is making sure this LeBlanc doesn't do any damage to his AD carry. I don't know. I think this is the closest I've seen both drafts in this series. I will be honest. So I really think this game could go either way.
Yeah, I will want to say for the viewers, Cassante, while Cassante is not banned, Cassante is not allowed to build Moonstone. If Cassante builds Moonstone, that will be an automatic FF for the side of Angie, and TD Bless will take the win here. So there is supposedly a bug with Cassante with Moonstone. So if Cassante builds Moonstone, that will be an automatic disqualification from ANGY for this game 3.
Mm-hmm. I will say one thing I am looking forward to is I want to see Very Talented make these plays on LeBlanc, right? They're really only damage dealers from the side of TD Blessed are the Sivir and it's the Syndra, right? If Very Talented is able to come in from these angles, find this fog of war where she is not spotted, that champion is absolutely going to blow up these carries here. She has so much mobility. She's able to just pop back out, go into distortion, and it's gonna be tough. I think it really kind of is up to Very Talented to find these angles if ANGY wants to win this game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is going to be a very close match. I would say that I like TD Bless comp just a little bit, having kind of the Syndra can one-shot damage, being able to kill the Lilia, the Jhin, LeBlanc pretty quickly, right? And of course, you have the Sivir being able to kind of do damage to Leona and Cassante. But after that, I mean, ANGY has that great front line from the Leona, from the Cassante, right? And LeBlanc just being able to like dash in, one-shot someone, and dash out. Yeah, this is going to be a really close game. I favor TD Blessed just a little bit, but again, this can go either way.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on all these players, right? They're fighting for finals, right? This is where all the marbles are on the table. But I think, like I said, these comps, they do feel like it's going to be a spicy one. I think Jhin, he's going to have a little bit of a trouble kind of breaking through that front line on the side of TD Bless. But I think if he finds those fourth shots on those prime targets, ooh, that's going to be a really satisfying thing. And I don't know, it's going to be a banger. I'm excited to see how this game 3 ends up going, as I think we're going to cut to break as we're about to go to spectator delay. Oh, man.
This game is just too close. I don't even know who to bet.
I was a lonely silhouette, needed somebody to show the way. Yeah, I was a heartbeat with no sound till you came around. Yeah, you showed me colors, light in the darkness. You were the only thing I needed. Then we got older, but we stayed the same. Swear that we never lost the flame. Nostalgia, you're an echo in my head. Oh, nostalgia, like a symphony of our memories. Oh, nostalgia.
And we are back for Game 3 of the Grand Finals of Sentinel. TD Blessed versus ANGY. And here we are. It is still 1-1 apiece, right? And we're going to see. I mean, this game's going to be really close here. Looks like just a classic 5-point. No weird invades happening this game, so.
Yeah, I think at this point, both teams are kind of like, we've seen a little bit of the shenanigans that both sides have shown, and they're kind of like, hey, we're just wanting to play some clean League of Legends at this point. We're not wanting to go for any silly shenanigans, as Riven is spotted out on that ward. He's kind of just tossing around, trying to see if he wants to go for that ward on the Raptor pit, but Sadness making sure that the deer is in a good spot. Her deer versus Zoo deer, making sure that this word goes off, but you got to be really cautious here if you're Riven. You don't know if Sadness is in the area, but you gonna maybe have to have a whim of an idea.
This is
The
a little
word
scary
actually goes
here.
off.
Oh, and
Actually,
at
good
the
see,
same
but
time,
now
though, Nintendo is
actually
kind of
cutting
taking a little
bot,
damage.
yeah. Nintendo trying to get the stun off, and actually Jin gets hit by the dredge line, and the ignite immediately comes out. I think Outrage might be in a bit of a bad spot here, as I'm surprised the flash didn't come out. Actually, the flash from the dredge line, is it going to be enough? Oh
Ooh.
my goodness, the barrier!
Oh,
He gets
undeterred,
stuck under
though, flash
tower!
in!
Oh,
And that could be
what-
death!
What a play there. That
Oh
is
my
actually a
gosh.
massive blunder for the side of TD Blessed, but they punished it. Angy did a good job. What a fiesta in the bot lane to start this game off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's all summoners use for both, right? Now, the only benefit for TD Bless is that kill did go over to the Leona, right? But that's not going to be fun for TD Blessed here at all. I mean, that's 500 gold already to this Leona. They're going to be already tanky coming back into lane, and I mean, what can you do bot lane now?
I mean, what can you do, right? You got a little, I keep saying it, overzealous, right? 8 summoners were used on the side of these bot laners, right? Everything is gone. And right now, Outrage is probably sitting on a pretty penny. Yeah, he's sitting on 300 gold. He's probably going to get some boots. Boot stiff, as they say. But the Leona did pick up the kill. That is a little bit of a limelight, a good side for TD Blessed here, but a Leona with some stats is going to be good, but actually we're seeing that base get stopped here. But Nintendo, they're trying to get the follow-up here, doing a great job of layering CC. Outrage, not going to go for anything else, as that brush is going to make it so he's able to get away.
Yeah, I mean, one hand is still only level 1, right? Well, Outrage and Leona are level 2, so there's not much that this Sivir is going to be able to do. It does hit level 2 now, but I mean, Leona's already back, and this Jin's just going to clear wave and probably back as well. So this is not going to look good for TD Blessed at all.
Absolutely, but we will see how the rest of these lanes end up playing out. As we see, top lane, it looks kind of the similar. Sign of the similar, as Ultimice is kind of pushing in this Gragas here, trying to punish here. But I have liked, from what I've seen, the aggressive trades here from Very Talented here. Trying to use the fact that she can kind of go in with this W, go in with the Blink to get a lot of damage, get these Electrocute procs, because at the end of the day, Very Talented is going to be able to do a ton of damage, and Riven doesn't have a lot of mobility, not a lot of ways to dodge this. And if these chains land, and with Sadness in the area, that is a dead Syndra.
Actually, this might just be a fight over Scuttlecrab here with the Lilian or in the Udyr, right? So before both times, Sadness was able to get there first, but it looks like
Yep, Nintendo is here first. The Zenith Blade does land, and with the stun immediately coming out as a response. Very Talented is here. I think Drop Dead thought his team was going to be in the area, and that is a kill over to the side of Very Talented. And that is not good. If I am the mid laner on the opposing side, I am in a bad spot. I am sad because
Riven is
LeBlanc
not
with a
happy
kill
right now.
is really scary here.
Yeah, of course, Very Talented has, what's worse is that has now 2 buffs onto this LeBlanc, right? Gonna be able to heal up, gonna get the mana right back, while Syndra is pretty low on mana. So this is not gonna be a very fun lane already for Riven, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a
We're
little
seeing some aggressive
skirmish
trades here, bot lane, as the Zenith Blade does not land, with a Dredge line not landing either. Both supports are kind of just firing warning shots, letting them know who's boss, letting them know, hey, we will swing. We'll swing if we have to, but we're just letting you know who's boss this time.
Yeah, of course, top lane has just been kind of a snooze pass, pretty similar as compared to the previous games being pretty one-sided. So it looks like top lane is just going to be an island for now. But Udyr should be known, at least where he is located. Again, they're just going to do just double full clears again, right? Ooh, the electrocute damage, though, onto the Syndra is just not doing good. I mean, right now I'm kind of looking at these lane states, and I don't really see an advantageous one for the side of TD Bless right now. I think you're kind of like your win condition you could kind of play safe was around bot lane, right? Sivir, she's kind of just able to hang out, farm some waves, but the fact that the gold went over to the side of ANGY during that exchange kind of puts him behind, but Sivir can kind of hang out, get a little bit done, but
actually seeing as Udyr is trying to walk around, kind of scoping out what's going on, trying to see if he gets spun on vision, which he does right about now, as looks like they're just going to clear that control ward here.
Of course, ward going down. Outrage is going to ward it
Oh,
again,
places a
right?
ward immediately.
So that won't be able to be taken away. No one has Oracle Lens just yet, right? So this is not, and this is just not looking too good, right, for the side of TD Blast. I mean, bot lane, you have to wait for a while before Sivir can actually do anything, right? Even her ultimate is still a little iffy, right? It's only good within the team fight, right? Speeding up everyone. Oh, actually
Yeah, but we
not.
see the trash line lands. I don't think anything else is going to come of it. That is a Leona at the end of the day. She is really hard to kill. But you are still just letting them know who's boss, kind of just
This
trading
is
aggressively
canon.
here. Trying to buy space for one hand here, just to farm up, because at the end of the day, Sivir is going to be able to scale, get a lot of value in these late game fights. But we see actually the dredge line does land on an outrage there. That looked very weird. I'm gonna be honest, but they're doing a great job of buying space here. Be very similar to that level 1 fight, but Sivir just trying to throw those axes, trying to get it away. And it looks like nothing's gonna end up coming out of it this time.
There is Flash, there is Barrier actually up for Outrage, right? So there's just not much that Sivir and Not can actually do. There's no way to flash in, because then again, that would have been a stun from the Leona, and that would just been ultimate doom. But they do get drag at least, so they are getting something in return for that early game play. But it's still just not that much.
And I mean, that is a good response there, using the fact that you got that pretty favorable trade there, and using the fact that you're able to go for the dragon, but Anki doing a good job of kind of going for that return play on the other side, getting those grubs for sadness, and I think there is a little bit of side lane pressure if you are Anki, but I think just having the grubs and kind of denying them over on the other side, I don't think there is a whole lot of split pushing in these games, but still, it's nice to have.
Yeah, I would say the best split pusher, to be honest, in this game is either Cassante or, to be honest, Sivir. Sivir's not actually that bad of a split pusher, right? But being that there's just not much damage really for the side of TD Bless, there's just not going to be much split pushing that Sivir's actually going to be able to provide. And those grubs aren't going to be as useful, but...
I mean, another champion I think kind of enjoys the fact that she has grubs is this LeBlanc. But speaking of the fact that she enjoys it, she's able to force out that flash. Good double use of the W there. Having that ultimate allows you to use a mimic of your spell, and she's able to get the benefit here. Trying to force out that flash, and the fact you don't have flash when you're a Syndra is really spooky.
Yeah, of course, again, top lane, still not much. Cassante is low on mana, so probably will be back in here, TPing back in a little bit, right? Does have 61 actually CS now, so should come back with a good at least half an item here. And of course, Dragon still taking 3 minutes, and of course the next grub's taking another 3 minutes to come up. So it'll be interesting to see, are they just going to trade the grubs, or are they going to try to go for 6 grubs and 2 dragons, or are they going to do 3 grubs, you know, drag each?
100%. As we actually do see the manaless LeBlanc choosing to, I believe, opt into a Storm Surge Rush. I believe it is one of the strongest mage items on the patch right now. It gives you so much, honestly, not deceptive, because it still is going to burst you, but it gives you a lot more damage, right? Very Talented is going to have to be cautious about how much they're using their spells on the wave here, trying to get this wave clear shoved. But if you're able to find the angles and the fact that you have this kill, I think it's not a bad purchase.
Yeah, I do think they are seen, though. Both teams are seen on the ward, right? So they do know that Physiology is kind of walked up. They do know now that Sivir is kind of alone, right? And they put a ward into that tri-bush right under Drag Pit, so that they will spot out the Udi or the Nautilus if they try to come in. But right now, this is not going. Ooh, Spell Shield does miss, though, so does not actually get the health back. But the thing is, Lilia is in the area, does get seen. Is this going to be an ult flash from it? And
We're actually
no ult
seeing...
use, so that's actually really beneficial over for Angy there.
Yeah, they're able to use the fact that Sivir is forced to flash, but I'm also just looking mid here, as Very Talented is continuing to push in the center, right? Using the fact this is a flashless, mobile-less mage, right? I'm honestly surprised that they are not sending more people mid to try to punish it, force her down, right? Send Nintendo over, send Sadness over, just put her in the dirt, right? This is where you want to punish. But speaking of putting in the dirt, we see that the ultimate is coming out. The depth charge is able to land. Outrage is the one in target, but Drop Dead is buying enough space for the other side. The Solar Flare is not able to land on the target that matters. One hand is getting flashed on. He's getting put in the lilting lullaby. The cleanse does come out though, and I think with the 4, the curtain call, is it going to be enough to hit? It's not. Physiology buys enough space for her time, but Very Talented is here, and I think
Very
Ribbon is going to
Talented, yeah.
pop. and it's enough. That is a double kill over to the side of Outrage. That W is not able to land, but with Drop Dead pretty low and very talented in the area, they find the angle. Oh, the W missed!
get it,
That
but-
is not what you want to see. Oh, and the
Oh!
spell shield! That is an absolute disaster, and I am so sad for very talented there.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that Sivir walk back was great to try to dodge that W. And I mean, that really doesn't bring them back, right? That's still, 1-for-1. But, I mean, it doesn't hurt, right? I mean, you were able to save so much more. It could have been so much worse, right? But they were able to kind of claw their way back. Don't give too much. And, of course, we do have Grubs up in 13 seconds.
Looks very
and it looks
similar
like
to
both
game one here, as the dredge line does
Yeld's
land
here,
onto
though.
this Cassante here. As we do see, there is some aggressive trading. I doubt anything actually comes of this, though. I think that you did not have enough damage on the side of Barbaric, but they're actually going for the cask. They're trying to get enough damage here. As Ultimate, actually, the E-Flash was the nastiest thing I've ever seen. That missed completely. Barbaric does not have the mana here. I actually think it's going to be really hard to kill him. They might just have to auto him to death, actually drop deads here. But Sadness is also here trying to buy enough space. We
Yeld's
actually
low,
see the
though.
whole good squads here. Very talented going in with the Solar First, able to land off Physiology. Are they going to be able to burst it down? We
that's
see
a
that Drop
2-for-1
Dead falls.
there.
The Zenith Blade to finish it off. Physiology's next, and I think Barbaric's going to fall right behind. That is a great turnaround from very, very talented. Ultimi's doing a great job of buying enough time to make it so his team can absolutely clean that up.
Well, yeah, that's now a 3k goldie, right? And that's 3 grubs over to, sorry, that's 6 grubs actually over to ANGY, right? So this is what we expected ANGY to do.
Oh,
actually,
you got so greedy there, Riven.
there it is.
Riven, you can't get that in that range, especially when Outrage has the root on deck. Riven, I've seen you die to tower too many times this series, man. We need to be seeing it, and now it is looking really good for ANGY this game.
Yeah, I think this is what we expected to come out of ANGY, over the last, coming in almost undefeated, only dropping 1 game during playoffs in their last best of 5, right? And again, yeah, game 1 they were shaky. Game 2 they really were, but they brought it back, and now game 3 they are just one-sidedly destroying TD Blessed here. It's going to be really hard for them to do anything, right? You have a Jhin that's 3-0-2. You have a Leona that's 2-0-4, and you have a LeBlanc that's 2-1-3, right? With that Storm Surge already, there's just so much damage coming out for ANGY that there's just not much that TD Bless can even do right now.
Yeah, as we see, the Scatter of the Week does land. Outrage taking a lot of damage here. I'm surprised Riven chose to posture back there. I think you have the angle to continue to run him down here as she's trying to buy space, but she's going to run into the trap to slow her down. Is that Scatter of the Week going to be up in enough time as the sun? Ooh, nice little sidestep and the barrier from Outrage. And I think it's going to be enough that curtain call. Syndra, Riven is not in a position to help. He could just honestly hold these ultimates. Just buy enough space for Jackie to get in range, and that's going to be enough as very talented is able to pick up that kill. And really well played there from Outrage.
Yeah, to be honest, I really don't see that much of a window back for TD Blessed, right? I mean, that's 4k gold lead now at only 13.5 minutes. Drags up quite a while, but Rift Herald's up in 20 seconds, right? I mean, all the song. Oh my god, I can't speak today. All Lilia has to do is just kind of walk in and take it. I mean, there's no damage that TD Bless can do to even burst down anyone. Against Casante's been up here just farming his way up to anything.
Haven't come. Actually, as we see the Q actually lands, stopping that E from going out. We're seeing some aggressive trading here, but it ends up being a tank versus tank. So while Barbaric has gone for that a little bit of aggressive trade here, we're seeing Ultimice is trying to get some value here, get these grass procs, but it's not going to be enough this time as he's kind of just happy to farm it up, let it happen. But I also want to echo back on what you were talking about there. I think there really isn't a whole lot of options right now for Blessed. The one thing I may be looking at is the fact that Sivir is still positive. At the end of the day, kind of positive. She's kind of even. But she has the opportunity to maybe, if ANGY is not able to close out this game early, it could look pretty good. The Sivir does get a lot of value. She can scale pretty decent. So that is an option, but it's still tough at the end of the day.
I mean, that is almost a 5k gold lead as well already before 15 minutes, right? So it's not looking good. Yeah, the Sivir is going to do well, but again, that's already Swifties and not Storm Surge, sorry, Static Shiv over for the Jhin, while all Sivir has is just an Essence Reaver with basic boots, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to, what's their plan to try to bounce back. And I'm surprised that Lilia didn't try to go take the Rift Herald, right? It looks like the Looks like everyone's just gonna move up. Both mid laners are just bot lane. Now, there is a TP advantage on Riven, right, to be able to come and contest if needed.
As they're taking
And
it
there
now,
it is,
as we
right
do
there.
see that physiology, he does find the depth charge onto the outrage here. Barbaric is on him, but we see the flash come out. I think it's not going to be enough as all
outrage, though?
4 members are on, but now cutting down to the backside, we see a 2-man sleep land. One hand is in a bad spot. Sadness is applying a lot of damage here. He's going to be able to pick up the carry there. Both 80 carries are gone in this fight, and it honestly looks at this point, if Sadness is able to keep this fight going, it could be pretty good, but Cassante, he goes unstoppable. He goes all out. He's doing a ton of damage to physiology. He's able to pick up that kill, and we see while the members of TD Blessed are clumped, they might find the angle onto Nintendo. I think Nintendo's going to fall here. It's going to be tough. They're trying to buy space with that Zenith Blade, but Riven is able to pick up that kill, and that is a lot of gold with a Rift Herald as that consolation prize and that final nail in the coffin to make it so this is a one fight for TD Blessed.
It is a one fight, right? They do get Rift Herald, but that's still, I'm really surprised, right? They could have got a lot more, but all they were able to get is just 2 of them, right? That is a 2-for-2 trade, and that is also first Tower Blood over to the LeBlanc here, right? So she's gonna be able to go back, get a lot of, or get a good item, or at least half an item here, and just melt. I think this is really what happened game 1, right? Riven wasn't in the fights with the Syndra, and they were kind of losing, but as soon as Syndra came into the fights, they turned it around. I think this is definitely what's going to happen with the LeBlanc. As soon as LeBlanc actually joins the fights, TD Blessed is just going to melt.
Yeah, I think at this point, there is a lot of pressure on the side of TD Blessed. Well, obviously, but there are just so many damage dealers at this point. Sadness is in a much better spot than he was game 2, and they won that game, right? If nobody locks down this deer, right, if you don't get the point and click CC that comes from the Udyr, they have the ability to lock her down, but it has to be the focus. If they're choosing to focus either the very talented or outrage, the deer is just going to run loose. Right, so you kind of have to pick and choose how you're going to fight this, because at this point, in the true 5v5, I think it's really, really hard.
Yeah, I think they have to try to burst down very talented. I think that is the main concern, right? That is already a 3-1-3 LeBlanc. That is not going to look pretty against anyone, right? Being able to just burst down Riven, burst down one hand, right? There's not much afterwards. There's nothing that TD Bless can do to do any damage, right? They have pretty much 3 tanks.
Yeah,
Again,
but they're going for something here. As we do see, the Rift Herald is trying to be used to buy space for this dragon, but with that 2-man swirl seed, you got to be really cautious here. I think it is an opportunity here, but now cutting down bot side, we see the Unleashed Power actually is doing a good job of chunking very talented here. They're trying to buy space, but the clone is popped, but that is not the person you want as the curtain call comes out from Jin here.
It's
actually
Riven.
able to land. That swirl seed's going to be able to kill Riven. That is an excellent shot there, as this is a really good fight here for the side of ANGY. They're able to land a lot of Qs here, able to land a 3-man sleep, and this is not good. And TD
One
Bless
hand's
is
just
falling.
doing-
Physiology is down. One hand is uncontested, and he is unalive. And Sadness picks up that kill, and they're able to get a dragon as well.
Yes, Sadness took like no damage against one hand, right? That the Sivir is just not doing any damage at all, and this Jin is just able to kind of just ult, hit, and voila, you're dead, right? This LeBlanc just jumps in high, takes out over half your health, runs away, and there's nothing you can really do about it, right? So this is what, a 7k gold lead already over to the side of ANGY, and it's not even 19 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at that level 1 play just really put TD Bless on that back burner, right? That is a tilter in the game and out of the game. But actually, now cutting up top lane, we see the flash is forced out from Barbaric, forced to get away from the all-out here, as that dragon ends up falling. But honestly, we haven't been talking about it enough. But in these tank v tank matchups, the fact that Ultimize is still up almost 40 CS is still so impressive, right? Cassante is on this patch. He is a little bit different than he used to be, but still the fact that you're able to get these leads, get this advantage is really strong. And I think right now Gragas is kind of just hanging out, and he's not really providing a lot this game.
I mean, he has Roa, right? But that's about it. He's going to be a little tankier than he would have, but to be honest, I think that you just need the damage, right? Yeah, you have the Udyr, you have the Nautilus. You just have to somehow burst down. Oh, and
but now aggressive
this is
trading
just
here as
gonna
the
be-
flash actually comes out from Riven. The chain landed to make sure that scatter didn't actually matter. This rhymes, but still very talented, is doing a good job of just applying pressure. I think that right now she's kind of uncontested in the side lane. I don't think there is a lot of threat. Maybe Gragas can just like hang out. But, like, there's not going to be a lot of threat on this LeBlanc, unless you send, like, 3 members of the side of TD.
To be honest, I would love to see a I would love to see an Angie kind of Baron rush here because I mean they have the. I think they have the damage with the LeBlanc or the LeBlanc burst with the uh, Lilia burn, right? Yeah, Jin's not gonna do the most, but I still think their Baron is good enough where they can just turn it around really quickly onto Angie or onto TD Bless if they try to decide anything.
I think so, but that's not going to be what they're ending up going for as the dredge line comes out, trying to buy enough space, forcing the flash out onto Sadness. I actually now think there might be an angle to still continue going on. Actually, as the E lands, but the casket is going to be enough to burst Sadness. The depth charge to make sure, but we see a TP come out from Riven. He's on the flank. He's able to land it, and that's actually a really...
Missed.
Oh, wait, he missed! I think he... Never mind. I think he's able to get that burn off. I don't know actually how, but it doesn't matter. As we see, Very Talented is actually getting a ton of damage off, forcing that Storm Surge to get the kill. The Curtain Call comes out. The double kill goes over to Very Talented. It might be a triple. It's not. She falls to Riven, but that is still enough damage to cause this fight to be another win over to the side of Angy. Outrage is kind of on the win right now. He has that rapid fire, that kind of funny build. It's not doing a ton of damage, but it's got a lot of range. It's got a lot of move speed. But the fourth shot, if he not able to land it as the W forces out the flash. I think if he had IE, he killed there, but that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah, this is just not this is not looking good at all. That's now an 8k gold lead over the side of Angy, and this is just I mean, they're already hitting tier 2 turrets. They'll have top lane, they'll have mid lane kind of pushed in. They have bot lane pushed in as well, right? I am actually surprised they aren't trying to go for this Baron. They know they have the health, or they know that they have the advantage, right? Yes, you could. I would say take Baron over Drag, being that yes, you would give Soul Point over to the side of Bless. But I mean, look at last game. They had Soul Point, yet they couldn't close out the game. So if they're this far behind, I don't think they're going to be able to do much with this or with this Hextech Soul actually.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I have seen a good amount of potential flank angles, but you do have your TPs down for the side of Riven. Actually, Barbaric does have it up. Maybe he can go for a flash, a Bomba, but we'll have to see. As Very Talented is actually choosing to engage onto the Nautilus, actually doing a lot of damage. I thought it wouldn't be that much, but Sadness trying to get a little bit of a follow-up here as the Swirl Seed does land. They're going for the flash in play. Nintendo is making sure that this support is fallen, and Sadness is able to pick up that kill, get the Eep. That's what it's called. I know. I looked up the ability name to finish off that kill.
Mm-hmm. Oh, actually,
And we see the Zenith Blade land, but you don't have the rest of your team here, and then this would just be nothing there. As they're just kind of just letting them know who's boss, just trying to buy some space here. As it just looks like at this point you're kind of okay to just look for the pick into Baron. I'm kind of surprised they didn't just go for Baron immediately. There is realistically not as much Baron damage because you're playing with the Jhin, playing with the LeBlanc, but the Lilia at the end of the day is going to be enough. But now we're seeing this Udyr is going to fall, and if I see a time for Baron, it's right about now. Actually, the Eep is stopped. It's going to be enough, but it's not. As we see the Solar Blare, making sure that this dragon is falling.
You see.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's actually, a nice knockup, but that wall is making it so hard for it to be a continued fight. I think you're going to Baron if you're Angy, and that's looks like where they're heading.
Yeah, again, I would have thought that here you can just push mid lane, right? Push that mid lane in, try to get that turret. Again, send Very Talented just mid lane, get it, or actually just Cassante, right? Cassante's there. I don't think Riven can actually burn down this Cassante.
Yeah. Ultimize is trying to make a play here. As actually he pulls him away. The W from Jhin does not come out, but the stun might make it so there's enough space burn. The depth charge to make sure that Very Talented isn't able to find that continued play here. As it looks like they're forcing out the sums, but Nintendo a little low. Maybe needing Sadness to tank here, but with all 5 members coming in. Yeah, I think it's a free Baron.
Yeah, again, they do get drag off this, unless nope, TD. I guess, sorry, Leona doesn't have it. I thought that was, for some reason, I thought that was Talon backing. But yeah, it looks like, again, that's yay, a dragon over to the side of TD Bless. And whoa, look, a mid turret, right? But it's just a 10k gold lead already at 24 minutes. There's just not much that TD Bless can do to kind of get back into this game. This Riven, this Sivir has 2 items, but...
Actually, the Syndra with 2 items actually put up a bit of a fight there, forcing out the barrier and the flash from Outrage. That's not what you want to see. I think at the end of the day, a Syndra is still a Syndra. So you got to be careful, as on the bright side for TD Bless, that is a dragon, kind of stopping that soul stack. Is actually, they're only 1 dragon off from getting Hextech Soul. That's pretty good. That could be a potential win condition back in for them. It's still going to be hard, but I will say, they also got the objective bounty, so stonks. They're, instead of a 10k gold lead, it's 9k gold lead. So.
Yeah, I will say though, look at the bot lane. That's 2 items over for the Leona, and yet not a that the Nautilus hasn't been able to buy a single item yet. That just shows you how much gold has gone to this Leona for 3 kills, right? 3 kills and only a single death, and like this bot lane just looks like it's just gonna.
Launches. Are you excited to potentially see a Cassante try to outplay here? Because we see all 4 members moving in, forcing out the ghost here. So it ends up being nothing here. Actually, Udyr is still trying to go around, not realizing that he's in the area here. But he's actually just choosing to go for the grubs here. The rest of the team is choosing to go back mid. They're trying to respect the fact that there's a Baron here. Sadness, you might have walked in a little too close to the sun, buddy. Forcing out the dredge line. Physiology with the flash to follow it up. They're trying to follow in. That might be a kill over onto the deer.
Riven,
Deer might fall, but the Zhonya's, we're seeing a little bit of a response
misses
here.
the timing.
Good response. We see a TP coming in, but it's canceled. Ultimize does it twice, and we see now that's actually not the play. Syndra's able to pick up the kill, but actually you flashed in, not thinking about the Zenith Blade. Is there going to be enough follow-up damage? Yes, it is. Nintendo does too much damage. Why does Leona
Very
do that
talented
damage?
here, though.
It doesn't matter. Yes, she finds the angle. One hand is trying to fight for their life. She's trying to buy space, but I think Very Talented is just waiting on those spells. Physiology on the top side is really low. Nintendo does a lot of damage, and it's just Very Talented left with the jungler and the support. It's going to be a battle, but we see, I think right now, I don't think either side can kill each other. Ultimize takes a tower actually on the other side, forcing Barbaric down. There's been a lot of skirmishing going on.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised actually we're able to get some of those kills, right? But whoa, what's an 11k gold lead now that I just noticed that? Again, the Cassante just be able to like, yeah, I'll just sit on a turret. I'm a tank. There's no way you can kill me, Gragas. I'll just take your turret while you're standing right under it, right? And of course, mid lane, yes, good job. You did kill the Jhin, the Leona, right? But it's not enough to kind of stop. You didn't kill Very Talented. Very Talented still has the Baron buff up for 8 seconds, but it's still something that they were able to push top lane with, right? And it's just, it's not looking good.
It isn't looking good. It is, at the end of the day, you know, I said it last game, but the Syndra does scale, right? And looks like looking at this game, yeah, she's close to death cap. She's almost at 120 splinters too, which is death cap times 2. So then she's gonna have a ton of damage. But
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of pulling at strings here, Launches. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
It's a little tough.
because I mean, like, you also have Banshee's Veil and about to have Zanya's over to the side or for LeBlanc there, so that's not going to be looking good for TD Blessed at all. You're going to go hit LeBlanc. Oh, look at that. Oh, missed it. Oh, there's Zanya's. Oh, no hitting at all. Actually, Death Brush here, actually. Could get
I
onto
think
Dead
that
Drop,
Drop Dead might be filling up to his name, but actually, now we see the angle here. The Q does land, but I don't think they're choosing to engage here. As Cassante is still up top, Ultimice is pushing in this wave. But I want to circle back. I did not realize that Very Talented is still choosing to go with the double defensive here. I think it can work, but as this game continues to go later and later, I think I just want raw damage if I'm this LeBlanc, right? I think the double damage items isn't super gold efficient at the end of the day. Maybe you just want to survive the initial burst, but when you're 8-2-8, you should just be trying to one-shot someone and immediately get out. Is kind of the way you play it, right? You shouldn't be contested on this one shot.
And you have a fed Leona, you have a pretty good Cassante right now, right? There's not much you can have to be scared of a front line. So having, again, going the death cap already, doing the death cap rush, doing Shadow Flame, right? Just being able to just one tap the Syndra, one tap the Sivir. I mean, what can TD Bless do if you do that?
I mean, I guess at this point, if you're in the game, you're kind of like, hey, my team is also so far ahead that it really doesn't matter as much. I just want to make sure that I'm able to provide some chains. I'm able to provide a little bit of threat, just continued in this fight, right? Just making sure you don't get popped by the Syndra, making also sure you don't get caught potentially out by a Nautilus depth charge. These are maybe the options that Very Talented is choosing to go for. But right now, she's just doing the classic LeBlanc thing, sitting with a control ward, making sure that this dragon and no soul is going over to side of TD Blessed.
Yeah, they do take Dragon. The thing is, yes, you can see the Nautilus, the Udyr is posturing around Baron, but I think that it's just not going to go. It's too long. It's still 38 seconds for the Baron, and it's enough time for ANGY just to run up to this Baron. They're not going to have enough space or time to actually take it.
I think that is kind of good use of just like making sure that you want to just rush something so that both objectives are not on the same timer, right? You don't want to give the side of TD Bless an angle to get back into this, right? If for say they go for the soul point, then you go for Baron, or vice versa. They do a good job of making sure it's immediately gone, making sure this Baron is not on the same timer, and it just doesn't give them a lot of options back into this.
Yeah, I will say though, that is IE for Jin. That Jin is going to hurt like crazy. So we're gonna see how much Jin's gonna be able to provide, right? But I mean, when you have the LeBlanc, you're just gonna be, one top. Actually, taking, I guess, yeah, that is the build for Zanya's. I'm thinking different build. Whoopsie. But again, you can see the levels are. Actually, that was almost 3 level difference between the ADCs there. That was actually kind of crazy. But again, there's just a one little tap onto this Gragas is hurts a little. Is able to just heal it up, right? But it's Jin hurts if nothing else.
Yeah, to be honest, at this point in the game, I'm kind of surprised. Okay, I think they're gonna actually just caster curse me, but I was surprised they didn't start this Baron. They started on spawn, just forcing the members of TV Bless to walk into you. You are so strong. You have that 10k gold lead, and like this should just be a free Baron. This Jin is doing enough damage at this point that it isn't gonna matter. But I think you gotta be cautious. You gotta make sure this Udyr doesn't find a sneaky spot in. Make sure that he can't get this steal. You need to have him marked. But on the other side, this Baron is gonna drop. But the side of TD Plus are doing a good job of at least making sure this tower is gonna drop. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be solid here.
Now they take mid turret, they take bot turret as well, right? They do get 2 objectives, but I mean it's a Baron though, right? I mean there's not much they can do. So I think that was the best case scenario for TD Bless. Just get the two towers and get out. But actually,
Now it looks
the
like
Khalid could
Physiology
be
is
out.
potentially caught out here. The Zenith Blade does come out from Nintendo Forever. The chain to make sure it follows up, flashing away, but another Zenith Blade. This
So
champion
much
is bonkers.
CC.
Physiology, I don't think he got a chance there. As Sadness is going to be able to pick up that kill, and I think right now I want to see the members of ANGY position